minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
It's Hick at Night with Ryan Hickey.
We are back, baby. Not just here on the Infinity Sports Network, but also on YouTube as well. As promised, the stream is up and running. So if you enjoy watching the show, you can check us out on the Infinity Sports Network YouTube page. We are streaming live video of this show, also obviously streaming live audio as well. All right, so fourth quarter just began in Tampa Bay. Bucs holding on to a 17-13 lead. Big development here. Jaden Daniels just threw a pass in the end zone and looks to be pass interference on the Bucs, which would put the ball first and goal at the 1 yard line if, in fact, this is what the flag is. Todd Bowles looking up to the heavens, very disgusted, so that seems to be what the call is. And there it is, pass interference on Diami Brown. Zion McCollum was the defender that committed the penalty, so down by 4 right now. One play into the fourth quarter, the Commanders are about to have it first and goal on the 1, trailing 17-13. Keep you updated on how that drive does finish here. We got a great one. Jaden Daniels, again, is looking very calm, cool, and collected so far in this game. 18-26 for 211 passing yards and 1 passing touchdown as well. Let's just keep it here for you on first and goal. That is incomplete. Okay. Again, keep you updated on how this drive just finished. It'll be second and goal for the Commanders here from the 1 yard line. So in case you're just joining us and tuning in here, talking about the most impressive performance so far from Wild Card Weekend, and for my money, it's the Bills. Because what they were able to do in just manhandling the Broncos, they showed 2 things in that win that they haven't been able to show really at any point in the postseason. That's the ability to run the football, and that's also Sean McDermott coaching aggressively. Every time we watch the Bills in the playoffs, it's the Josh Allen show. And he's good enough, right, to beat the Dolphins, to beat the Steelers, to beat some of these wild card weekend teams that are just happy to be there. When he's not good enough, and this is not a knock on Allen, this is just the fact that the teams are facing, the level of competition is so high, it takes more than one guy to beat you. Where Josh Allen alone is not good enough to win is against the Bengals, against the Chiefs, the best teams in the AFC come playoff time. And that's why we've seen Buffalo, right, lose in the postseason maybe earlier than they should. And part of the reason is because it's been all on Josh Allen. The run game has been non-existent. The defense has not gotten many stops. And you saw today, in rushing for 210 yards on the ground, the Bills were able to establish the run and take pressure off of Josh Allen, to make defenses respect the run game, not just have their ears pinned back trying to sack Josh Allen and get after him. James Cook ran for 100 yards. He's the first 100-yard rusher for Buffalo since Thurman Thomas in 1995. We saw history today in Buffalo. And if they are able to continue to run the ball successfully, and Sean McDermott, who went for it on 4th down twice, continues to coach aggressive, continues to coach like he is the best damn quarterback in the NFL on his team, Buffalo's going to be a really tough out. A really tough out. That's why, for me, they were the most impressive team from Wild Card Weekend, because they were able to do two things we have not seen in this Josh Allen era in Buffalo. Run the ball and coach aggressively. Speaking of running the ball, so we just told you the Commanders had first and goal from the 1 yard line. First down, incomplete. Second down, loss of 3 yards, absolutely stuffed on a handoff. Third down, pass, incomplete. On fourth and goal, down by 4, I think the Commanders, rightfully so, go for it. Incomplete. Jaden Daniels looking over the middle for Zach Ertz, double covered, falls to the ground harmlessly. The Buccaneers get a goal line stand, and they get the ball back, up by 4, 17-13 here early in the fourth quarter. A huge momentum-changing play here now. The second time on fourth down, the Commanders have tried to go for it inside Buccaneers territory. They come away empty. 17-13, keep you updated on how that game does go. But 855-212-4227. 855-212-4227. That is the number to call. The most impressive performance you saw this weekend from Wild Card Weekend was 855-212-4227. You can also tweet me, Ryan_Hickey in the number 3, and also write in our YouTube chat that can be found on the Infinity Sports Network YouTube page. Okay, so there are two ways to look as the Eagles hold on to beat the Packers 22-10. There are two ways to look at this Eagles victory. One way is through the glass half empty, where you could have concern and say, oh, well, Jalen Hurts did not look very good, and A.J. Brown is on the sideline during a playoff game reading a self-help book, and the Eagles defense forced 3 interceptions, had a fumble on the kickoff, the Packers missed a field goal, and yet the Eagles only won by 12. And an offense that was one of the most explosive in all of the NFL, led by a great rushing attack, only scored 2 touchdowns. Like, you could look at it from the glass half empty perspective and say, oh boy, there's a lot of concern there, and there's a whole lot to be worried about when it comes to the Eagles. I'm not choosing to look at it from this perspective. I'm choosing to look at it from the glass half full perspective. Because I think what Philly showed you today is what makes them so dangerous in the playoffs and why they're going to be such a hard out. Because they can beat you in so many different ways. Think about this. The Eagles won a playoff game today by double digits, despite the fact that, again, that offense was clunky. They were in a rut. That run game that, again, has been the best or second best in all the NFL was not great. Right? Saquon finished with over 100 yards, but he didn't really feel like that. He never really felt like he took over the game until maybe late. The passing game was non-existent. Right, your best receiver in A.J. Brown had just 1 catch in this game. You weren't able to capitalize on Packers' mistakes. You were only able to score 2 offensive touchdowns. But yet, despite all of the woes on offense, the Eagles won this game and, frankly, won it handily. Right? There was really no point in this game where you said, oh man, the Packers can win this game. They are alive here. Maybe for a slight minute outside of the Josh Jacobs or after the Josh Jacobs touchdown run. But other than that, Philly put the clamps on the Packers the entire game, and they did it defensively. Where, again, we talked about the turnovers forced by Philly, 3 interceptions. Fumble on the opening kickoff. And in between, again, outside of really that one Josh Jacobs drive that he just went beast mode on, that Packers offense looked horrible. They were not moving the ball. Jordan Love was getting flustered. They were getting after him. They were stuffing the run. That Eagles defense is so good that even though their offense played probably a C- game, you could even argue a D game, the game was really never in doubt. Because that Eagles offense is so good. And that's when I talk about, like, the Eagles have so many different ways to beat you, so many different ways to win. That's what I'm talking about. Where your offense is poor. You could argue the worst game of the season. Yet a playoff game was never really in doubt because of how good their defense is. They can win a game on the backs of their defense. They can win a game by just handing the ball to Saquon Barkley and giving it to Jalen Hurts 35 times combined and just running the ball down the other team's throat. They can win a game passing. I know Jalen Hurts did not look great. I'm choosing to view this game as rust, where he missed 2.5 games with a concussion. He's not been practicing a ton. He's trying to work his way back into game shape. It's tough to miss 2.5 games and then be thrown into a playoff-like atmosphere and play your best. Be crisp. There were some throws he made that were inaccurate. There were some reads that he made were sluggish and slow. He's not exactly played, he did not play anything near a crisp game whatsoever, but just did enough. And so when you look at this game from an offensive perspective of how poor Philly was, and they still were able to win by 2 possessions and really never had this game in doubt, I look at this from an optimistic perspective of the Eagles. Because whether they're playing the Buccaneers, whether they're playing the Rams, whether they're playing the Vikings, all possibilities for them in the divisional round, I absolutely expect that offense to be better. And if it's still sluggish and not playing great, again, this defense has shown you, being the top defense in the league, they're good enough to say, we got this, we'll go win a game. They could beat you in so many different ways to where if their A game is not there, they still find ways to win playoff games. And that's what makes teams like Philly so tough to knock out, so tough to beat, because they're not reliant on one player or one area. Because the playoffs, right, it's all about taking away your strengths. What do you do? Well, we're going to try to stop that. Again, Buffalo today, right? I'm sure Denver's defense was not worried too much about the run game. They're saying we're going to try to slow down this pass game and get after Josh Allen. Sack him, cause some turnovers, fluster him, slow down this passing attack. And then all of a sudden, as Buffalo's running the ball down their throats, Denver's like, oh boy, well, now we got to defend the pass and the run. We're in trouble here. Different ways to win. For Denver, their offense was not doing it. They really just put the ball in Bo Nix's hand and said, hey, try to help us out here, kid. They couldn't run the ball whatsoever. The defense was on the field and not getting a lot of stops. So Denver today really had only one way to win, right? And that was through the air on Bo Nix's shoulders. That's a lot to ask of a rookie quarterback on the road when your defense is not getting stops and getting off the field, when the run game is non-existent, and you're only getting limited opportunities to make plays. That's why you saw a blowout in Buffalo. Why you saw a win in Philly was because the Eagles can beat you in multiple ways. They showed that again today. So despite what was a sluggish offensive output, I'm not too concerned about Philly. Nick Sirianni, after the game, did talk about the offensive struggles and his concern level.
As an offense, we struggled a little bit as an offense. I don't think we had the game that we wanted to have on offense. We're going to go back to work tomorrow, and no victory Monday for us. We could play Saturday too. We don't know, but no victory Monday for us. We're going to go back to work because we do have a lot of things to clean up.
A coach's dream, right? A lot of mistakes made, and you can fix them after a win, where they don't cost you in the win-loss column, but there's a lot of reason to have your players bought in. You don't have to worry about them getting too high on confidence or too full of themselves. That's an Eagles team that I think will be grinding this week and will come out a lot cleaner offensively than what we saw earlier today. So I'm not concerned about the Eagles' offense after what was a very sluggish, sputtering performance they had against the Packers. How concerned are you? If you are concerned about the Eagles, I'll say it this way here. I want to hear why. 855-212-4227. What is your concern level with this Eagles team after what was a pretty uninspiring offensive performance here from Philly against the Packers? 855-212-4227. You can tweet me, Ryan_Hickey, and the number 3, and also write in our YouTube chat. That can be found on the Infinity Sports Network YouTube page. When we return, we did not just have only playoff games today. We had a coaching hire. The Patriots announced they have hired Mike Vrabel to replace Gerard Mayo to be their next head coach. I think Vrabel's a good coach, but here's my concern when it comes to that hire. I'll tell you when we do return right here. It's Ryan Hickey on the Infinity Sports Network. We did have a big play in the Buccaneers-Commanders game. Here to tell you about that and everything else going on in the world of sports is Peter Schwartz.
Infinity Sports Network. Sports Flash.
And this report sponsored by Progressive Insurance. A riddle sponsored by Progressive. What do your home and auto have in common? Progressive protects them both. It was an easy riddle. Learn more at Progressive.com. Well, let's begin with Wild Card Sunday. They're in the fourth quarter in Tampa. The Bucs are on top of the Commanders, 17-13. Baker Mayfield, the Bucky Irving, the go-ahead 4-yard touchdown. But a few minutes ago, Baker Mayfield with a fumbled snap. Commanders recover. They're in the red zone. And now they have a 4th down and 2 from the 5-yard line. It looks like they're going to go for it. We'll keep you posted on what's happening there, but it's 17-13 Bucs over the Commanders in the fourth quarter. Now to Philadelphia.
And now it's time for the victory formation. It wasn't the best game the Eagles ever played, but it was a very solid win.
Merrill Reese on Eagles radio. Eagles over the Packers 22-10. Saquon Barkley rushing for 119 yards. And Jalen Hurts threw a couple of touchdown passes. In Orchard Park, Bills beat the Broncos 31-7. Josh Allen threw for 272 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Ultimately, it's not the X's and O's, it's the Jimmys and Joes, and guys were ready to go. We got our rest, getting able to kind of not play everybody that last game. Guys were refreshed, and again, we're going to need to get our rest this week, and we had a really good Baltimore Ravens team coming here. They put the thumping on us earlier in the year, and we know that, we understand that. So, again, it's the most important game because it's the next one.
James Cook rushing for 120 yards and a touchdown. Updating in Tampa, that turnover by the Bucs turns into 7 points for the Commanders as they now lead the Bucs 20-17. The Patriots name Mike Vrabel their new head coach. NBA, Cavaliers' 12-game winning streak comes to an end. They lose to the Pacers 108-93. I'm Peter Schwartz.
You make the call. 855-212-4227. When you want to talk to us, call 855-212-4227.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This is Hick at Night. Here's Ryan Hickey.
Everyone always talks, all right, and laments the fact that the AFC has all the good quarterbacks in the NFL, and the NFC really has no one. We are seeing an absolute battle between two dogs at quarterback in Commanders Buccaneers. Peter Schwartz just told you, right, the big game-changing play we just had was Baker Mayfield fumbling it in his own end, recovered by the Commanders. On 4th down and 2, Jaden Daniels finds Terry McLaurin in the end zone for a touchdown. So they go for the Commanders doing 4th down again, get the touchdown and go up 20-17. Baker Mayfield, and now you're looking at it, there's less than 6 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. Baker just fumbled and gave the Commanders a grade A opportunity to take the lead. And what has Baker done to respond? Right now has driven the Buccaneers right down the field. They are facing a 3rd and inches from the Commanders' 11-yard line. So he has taken the ball, put his mistake behind him, and is right now led Tampa to where they are at least in field goal range here with a chance to tie the game as this 3rd and inches play. I don't know what the hell just happened. I don't know if it was a miscommunication, if it was another fumbled snap. I just looked up and Bucky Irvin was getting tackled on 3rd and inches, 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Let's see here. Baker's under center. Oh, boy. You know what it was? I think the center snapped the ball before everyone was ready. It's kind of one of those, hey, we're going to snap it on 2. Center, for whatever reason, goes, oh, okay, it's on 1. He snaps it. Nobody's ready for it. The offensive line doesn't move. Baker doesn't move. Everyone kind of freezes for like a half second. Well, the Commanders move. They see the ball snapped. They stuff Bucky Irvin behind the line there for a big loss. So now they have to settle for a field goal. That is good. So we got ourselves a tie game. This is what you want. Baker Mayfield dealing. Jaden Daniels dealing. 20-20. 4 minutes, 41 seconds to go here. And a wild card game in Tampa Bay. Winner goes on, loser goes home. We are seeing great quarterback play and two promising stars. I know Baker's been in the league for a while, right? But now he's finally getting an opportunity in Tampa Bay. Won a playoff game last year, playing outside of the fumble, playing well in this game. Nice bounce back to lead the Buccaneers down the field to tie the game. 20-20. 4.5 minutes ago in quarter number 4. We will keep you updated on how this game does go. What an opportunity for Jaden Daniels right now to just continue the story that right now has been just one of the best we've seen from rookie quarterback in NFL history. He has a big chance here to really cement that with a big-time drive in Tampa Bay. All right, so again, I told you before when we went to break here, we had a lot of playoff games today, but we also had some coaching news. And I think when it comes to like teams hiring head coaches, the biggest thing is fit, right? Because teams fire coaches at all different stages. It's not just bad teams firing coaches. Good teams fire coaches too. And so teams have needs. Some of it's, we need our offense to be better. We need an overall culture setter, right? We need someone who could take our team from good to great. Teams have different needs when they fire their head coach. And so when it comes to head coach hiring, the most important thing for me is not having a coach from an offensive background. It's having a coach that fits your number one need. When you look at the Patriots, their number one need they need from a head coach is developing Drake May. Because the success or failure of the Patriots the next 5 years will be determined by how May develops. And that's why, for me, if I was New England, I would have tried to hire Ben Johnson. He would have been number one on my list. Because I think he fits what New England needs more than Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel's a really damn good coach. That guy's a winner. He gets more out of less. But I'm not so sold right now on Vrabel's ability to develop Drake May. And for how good of a coach he is, we saw there's a ceiling in Tennessee where if you don't have a quarterback, it's hard to win in the playoffs. And so that's why if you're the Patriots, with how well Drake May played in year number 1, with how little talent he has around him, there's a real opportunity here to capture it, get a coach that knows what he's doing, can develop Drake May to the point where he can be quickly one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And I think Ben Johnson was the guy for that. And not only could Ben Johnson, I think, develop May, but I also think he would attract players to New England. Because that's now, at this point, what the Patriots need. They need better offensive linemen. They need better receivers. They need a better tight end. They need better running backs. They need, basically, take May aside on offense, probably upgrades at 9 of the other 10 offensive positions. And I think those upgrades are made easier if you have Ben Johnson running your team compared to Mike Vrabel. Because Johnson has proven to you he can get the most out of everybody. He's a genius where he puts everyone in positions to succeed. He can elevate offensive talent and make guys better than they truly are. His creativity is second to none. So like when you look around what he's been able to do in Detroit, if he can now bring that magic and game planning and play calling to New England with a quarterback that is really damn good already and has showed signs of promise, I think you're looking at a really successful team for the Patriots that could really quickly rebound and be competitive again. That roster's not very good, but how you become good quick is by hitting on the quarterback. Look at the Texans with C.J. Stroud last year. Look at the Commanders now with Jaden Daniels. Look at the Broncos with Bo Nix. Like, you get the quarterback right, it makes up for a lot of other faults on your roster. And I think the best man for the job, the best man that could get the most out of Drake May was Ben Johnson, who seemed interested in the job. By all reports, seemed like the interview went really well. I would have continued and tried my best to get Ben Johnson in the door and make him the head coach of the Patriots. Because what scares me with Mike Vrabel, and here's the reality when it comes to Vrabel, who is a great coach again, but his success is limited based on who he hires as offensive coordinator, right? Because no matter how good he is defensively, he's not going to have Derrick Henry. And we saw in Tennessee, Derrick Henry was that offense and carried that team to the NFC title or AFC title game almost by himself. But Vrabel will have that defense ready to play. But we don't have Derrick Henry offensively to carry the offense. It's going to be on the quarterback. And if you don't have a good offensive coordinator to develop Drake May to get the most out of him, there's a ceiling, and you're not going to see a lot of success in the Mike Vrabel era without a good OC. And early reports, this is not official, this is not, close to happening, but early reports are that one of the favorites to land the OC job is Josh McDaniels. And I know he's had a lot of success in New England in the past. That sounds like, that to me is the worst case scenario. That is horrific. Because think about it, right? Forget Tom Brady. at that point, Tom Brady was Tom Brady, so I'm going to take McDaniels' coaching of Tom Brady out of it. Look what he did with Mac Jones. Just totally blanked on that name. My apologies here. Not that Mac Jones gives you a lot of reason to remember him anyway. But he had a young quarterback in Mac Jones that he helped, quote-unquote, develop. Look back at the 2 or 3 years that 2 years that Josh McDaniels was there with Mac Jones. What did he do to, quote-unquote, develop Mac? The answer is nothing. Everything was about limiting Mac Jones, making sure he doesn't lose the game, keeping it as simple as possible. He basically, the goal was, Mac, don't lose us the game. We're not going to give you any chance here to throw a costly interception. We're not going to ask you to do a lot. Basically, hand the ball off, make a few safe throws, and that's it. They didn't want Mac Jones cutting it loose. That was Josh McDaniels' quote-unquote development of a rookie quarterback. He put the handcuffs on him. So do I really trust that McDaniels is the guy to take Drake May from where he is right now and make him better? I don't. And if you can't, again, you're not having success. It does in this situation for the Patriots. It's not the case with every team. But in this specific case, with the lack of talent on the team overall, especially on offense, with how promising Drake May is, with the questions about when it comes to Mike Vrabel not being an offensive guy, who is he going to hire as an offensive coordinator? I think if you're the Patriots, the fit you needed was an offensive-minded head coach that can develop Drake May. And that's why I don't think, despite Mike Vrabel's link to the franchise, his previous success, I don't think he was the best man for the job. I think Ben Johnson was. I think the Patriots missed an opportunity to do the best they possibly could and missed an opportunity to get the right fit at head coach for their team. 855-212-4227, 855-212-4227. It is Ryan Hickey right here on the Infinity Sports Network. Okay, so we told you before in last segment, talking about the Eagles, right, and their offensive struggles, that I saw something that I've never seen before. And that's A.J. Brown on the sideline during a game reading a book. Right? He wasn't looking at a tablet, wasn't looking at a playbook. He was actually reading a book on the sideline between series. After the game, A.J. Brown at his locker was discussing why he was reading said book.
Man, it gave me a sense of peace. That's a book that I bring every single game. My teammates call it a recipe. That's the first time I heard that y'all got me on camera. But that's not the first game. It got a lot of points in there. It's a lot of mental game, a lot of mental parts about it. And, but for me, this game is mental. I physically believe I can do anything and everything. But I got to make sure my mental good. It's something like how I refresh every drive. Regardless of if I score a touchdown or I drop a pass, I always go back to that book every drive and just refocus.
To me, that's fascinating on so many different levels. The book, by the way, Inner Excellence. So if you want to check it out, if it works for A.J. Brown, it could work for you as well here in remaining focused. I've never seen that. And look, if it works, whatever it takes. I think if you're the Eagles, if you're A.J. Brown, whatever it takes. If reading a book called Inner Excellence on the sideline, what helps you kind of remain calm as you're not getting the ball and you don't want to freak out on the sideline, then you know what? I give him credit. Because, right, we've seen him freak out on the sideline. We've seen him yell at Jalen Hurts. We've seen him yell at Nick Sirianni. We've seen sideline blow-ups before. And it has had an impact on the locker room, right? We've heard all last year and all offseason about the culture of the Eagles, right? And do they like each other? Is it broken? And so if A.J. Brown, his credit, said, you know what calms me down is I'm not getting the ball, and maybe having an outburst is not productive for myself, not productive for the offense. How I'm going to calm down is by inner excellence. Reading a book. I give him credit. Look, Frank Costanza tried, Serenity Now? It's sort of worked for him until it blow up. A.J. Brown's reading Inner Excellence. Whatever it takes. For me to get to my happy place, honestly, I love the shower. Like, if I need a reset, if I'm having a funky day, if I need to, if I'm trying to work on the show, let's say before the show, and I'm just kind of sitting there and not being able to focus or not getting the ideas that I'm trying to out or having the creativity, I go to the shower, put on the hot water, kind of sit there, and then I feel like all of a sudden the thoughts start flowing. So I guess you can't have a shower on the sideline. Clearly, you can't go to the locker room. It takes too much time to get undressed, go in the shower, sit there for, at least for me, if you're sitting there for 20 minutes. Well, they're just letting the hot water run on you. That's my happy place. For A.J. Brown, it's reading a book on the sideline. Either way, interesting. I've never seen that before. But if it works, hey, I'm not going to argue with it. I'm sure Eagles fans won't as well. 2-minute warning in Tampa Bay. Commanders with the ball right about at midfield, looking at a 2nd down and 10. They're on the Tampa 45, so probably need about, let's say, 15 yards conservatively to get in good field goal range here. 2nd down and 10, 2 minutes to go here in Tampa Bay. Keep you updated on that game when we do return. Who is the team to beat in the AFC? We will discuss next. It is Ryan Hickey with you right here on the Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome in to the Hick At Nite Show. Here's Ryan Hickey.
And welcome on into Hick At Nite. Ryan Hickey with you right here on the Infinity Sports Network. Thank you for making us a part of your Sunday. If you missed any part of the show, check out the Hick At Nite podcast feed. Nite spelled N-I-T-E, available wherever you do get your pods. We got a great one here in Washington. We told you when we went to break, 2-minute warning. The Commanders had the ball at about the 45-yard line in Tampa Bay in a 20-20 game. Jaden Daniels found Austin Eckler out of the backfield for what was about a 20-yard gain well into field goal range. And after 2 run plays, it's going to be about 3rd down and 1. There's 55 seconds left, and the Commanders have the ball on the Buccaneers' 19-yard line. Bucs have 1 timeout left. So if you're the Commanders, you get this 3rd down here. You convert at the 1st down. You can wind down the clock and get a chip shot field goal for Zane Gonzalez to win the game. If you're Tampa and you get a stop and you force them to kick the field goal now in 4th down, you'll get the ball down by 3 with about 45 seconds or so. So let's see here. It's 3rd down and 1. The Commanders have Marcus Mariota and Jaden Daniels both in the game. It looks like they're going to try to draw them off sides. So yeah, they're going to try to draw them off sides. Try to get a cheap 5 yards. Does not work. Timeout, Washington. 3rd down and 1 here. I don't mind it. I don't hate the decision if you're Dan Quinn. You got timeouts to use. Try to get a cheap 5 yards. Try to, again, 1 first down, and this game is over. Assuming Zane Gonzalez can make a kick, which, by the way, so far in this game, he's 2 of 2, including a 52-yard. Again, the ball's on the 19-yard line. So let's say even they lose a yard here and the ball's at the 20, you're looking at a 37-yard chip shot for Zane Gonzalez here to try to give the Commanders a lead inside of a minute to go on the road in the playoffs. If you're Cliff Kingsbury, it's easy. It's 3rd and 1. I'm putting Jaden Daniels under center. I'm running the tush push, the QB sneak, the commander crunch, whatever you want to call it. Put the ball in Jaden Daniels' hand. I think a QB sneak at this point, 1 yard, gets it. Either way, you have to have the ball in Jaden Daniels' hand here and allow him to make a play. The game is going to be won or lost by him. And on 3rd down and 1, they put him in the shotgun, so there's no tush push. It was a fake handoff, basically a naked bootleg. And the Buccaneers had it well covered. I think it was Levante David who was there, missed the tackle. Jaden Daniels runs around the edge for about 5 yards, 1st down. And this, again, assuming Zane Gonzalez can make the kick, this game is over. Let's see. It was Kalijah Cansey, actually, who broke through the line and was able to get near Daniels. Daniels just stiff-armed him. He just stiff-armed a defensive tackle on his way to getting the 5 yards and getting the first. What can't this guy do? He's slender. He's like my build, right? We've all seen him. He's not Josh Allen. He's a thin dude. And he just gave Kalijah Cansey a stiff arm. Get off me. In running around the edge and getting the 1st down. So 1st down and 10 for Washington. They have the ball right now on the 15-yard line. The Bucs just used their final timeout. So 40 seconds left. No timeouts for the Bucs. One timeout for the Commanders. You would think here, one snap, get it in the center of the field, take a knee, and trot Zane Gonzalez out there to have him win the game. That's what's going to happen. Daniels goes to the left hash, takes a knee. We're going to let this go down about 3 seconds. And Zane Gonzalez, the fourth kicker, by the way, for the Commanders. They've had some injury issues at kicker. The fourth kicker for Washington this year is going to have a chance to win the game and send the Commanders to what most likely would be, right? Yeah, since they're the 6th seed and tomorrow's a 4-5 matchup, send the Commanders to Detroit. Mike, can't say enough about what Jaden Daniels has done so far this season. Remember, we told you, right? After the fumble by Baker Mayfield, and the Commanders scored a touchdown and take a 20-17 lead, Baker went right down the field and was able to get a field goal to tie the game with 4 minutes and 33 seconds left. And what the Commanders have been able to do is drive down the field 9 plays, 51 yards, and have eaten up all but 3 seconds of that clock. So I think I said 4:30, 4:41. So they're about to run out the final 4:41 of this clock. At worst, go to overtime. Best case right now, settle for what will be, let's see, it's officially on the 19-yard line, a 36-yard field goal for Zane Gonzalez. I have a take here I'll give you on Jaden Daniels, assuming this can go through. We'll wait and see for official confirmation. It is officially a 37-yard field goal to send the Commanders to the second round of the playoffs and send them to Detroit. The kick is up. It is good. Oh, it hit off the right upright. It hit off the right upright and caromed in. The field goal is good. The Commanders win the game 23-20. Their first playoff win in 20 years. Ironically enough, their last playoff win came in 2005 against the Buccaneers, which now snaps the third longest playoff win drought in the NFL. The Commanders are moving on to Detroit. They win 23-20. Here's a take I want to give you on Jaden Daniels right out of the gate here. Jaden Daniels, he gets a lot of comparisons, and the comparison you most see, right, is Lamar Jackson because of their playing style. This is going to be heavy, but I think it's fair. Jaden Daniels, to me, reminds me so much of Tom Brady. Here's what I mean by that. Jaden Daniels, anytime you give him an opportunity, he makes you pay. Right? He may not be great in the first quarter, in the second quarter, in the third quarter. Excuse me. If you give him life, if you make a mistake, he is going to make you pay. We've seen it time and time again. We saw it in the Eagles game, right, where Jaden Daniels throws an interception with just about 2.5 minutes to go a few weeks ago that should have ended the game. Instead, the Eagles could not run the clock down. The Commanders get the ball, and what does Jaden Daniels do? Lead them right down the field, throws a touchdown with less than 10 seconds to go to win the game. We've seen so many late game heroics from Jaden Daniels this season, and we saw it here yet again. On 4th down, the Commanders go for it. They don't get it. Incomplete. 1st and goal from the 1-yard line. They come up empty. Do not score a touchdown. And then Baker Mayfield fumbles the football a few plays later, gives the Commanders life. And what does Jaden Daniels do? On 4th down on that ensuing drive, touchdown to Terry McLaurin to take the lead. And then again, on 3rd down and 1 here, on the next drive by the Buccaneers, as Baker Mayfield is leading the Bucs right down the field, it is 3rd and inches from just about the 11-yard line. A 1st down continues to wind the clock under 5 minutes and puts the Buccaneers in a position to take or score a touchdown for the go-ahead score. And on 3rd down and 1, miscommunication, the run gets stuffed, and the Buccaneers have to settle for a field goal. So instead of getting a 1st down on what should have been an easy conversion, a high percentage conversion, the Commanders get the ball back with 4 minutes and 41 seconds left in this game. March right down the field, take up all of 4:41, and it ends in a game-winning field goal that was put in position by none other than Jaden Daniels. He's Tom Brady. He's Tom Brady. He's Patrick Mahomes. They're not going to convert every time. But in the fourth quarter, if you give them life, right, they make you pay every single time. We've all seen it with the Patriots for countless years of Brady. A costly interception, a costly penalty, too much time on the clock. There's never a doubt, Brady's got the ball chance to win it, he's going to come through. Patrick Mahomes, you make a mistake, you give him the ball with a chance to win the game, he's going to come through. Jaden Daniels is now in that conversation. You give Jaden Daniels the ball with a chance to make a play to come through. He's done it. He's done it all season long. The guy is clutch. And that, to me, is the most impressive part of what we've seen from this rookie season for Jaden Daniels, is the fact that on the road in a playoff game, the biggest game of his career, number one, the stage doesn't frighten him. The stage doesn't impact him. Being on the road has no impact whatsoever on his game. He's calm, cool, and collected. Plays a great game, finishes this game going, let's get you the exact stats here, going 24-35 for 268 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He was outstanding. And by the way, he had all that success through the air without any sort of run game. He was the leading rusher for the Commanders in this game with just 36 yards. Austin Eckler, 27 yards and 8 carries. Brian Robinson Jr., 16 yards on 10 carries. The Commanders averaged just 2.5 yards per carry. The game was put on Jaden Daniels' shoulders, and he came through. That's Tom Brady, man. That's Patrick Mahomes. You need these guys to come through, they do it. We saw a lot of fourth down struggles, and we saw a lot in the end. All that mattered was Jaden Daniels coming through. Really quickly here, we do have the divisional round schedule. Read it for you. Texans, Chiefs, 4:30 Eastern on Saturday. Commanders, Lions, 8 o'clock Eastern on Fox on Saturday. Next Saturday, Eagles take on the winner of the Rams and the Vikings. That's at 2 o'clock. It's a little different, unless they're just pushing an hour-long pregame show. But at least right now, it has on NBC. That game's going to be on NBC and Peacock. 2 Eastern, Eagles taking on the Vikings and Rams. And then Bills, Ravens, 6:30 Eastern on Sunday. So a very good divisional round slate set. What a great wild card weekend right now, highlighted and capped off by Jaden Daniels getting a win over the Bucs, leading them down to a 23-20 victory. This rookie season is going to go down as one of the best we've ever seen. For a while, I've always talked about Andrew Luck having the best rookie season I've ever seen. And I'll be honest, part of that is a little bit of bias being a Colts fan, but also part of it is him coming around and being almost a single-man turnaround, where that roster is so bad, and he turned them around from 2 wins to 11 wins in just one season. But even for Andrew Luck, how great he was his rookie year back in 2012, that was a Colts team that was overmatched by a Ravens team in the playoffs and lost pretty handily. And here for Jaden Daniels, right, he's injected life into the Commanders. They've had a great season. They make the playoffs, and now they go in and win a road playoff game. This season continues. Now they're going into Detroit with all the belief in the world. And look, I mean, I'd right now pick the Lions, but with the injuries the Lions have defensively, with how bad their pass defense is, can I sit here and tell you the Commanders have no shot? Absolutely not. Absolutely not, and that's just purely from Jaden Daniels being on the roster, playing the way he's playing. He's someone you cannot bet against. And every time you give him an opportunity to beat you, he is coming through. 855-212-4227. 855-212-4227. It's Ryan Hickey right here on the Infinity Sports Network. The Commanders take down the Bucs. A Zane Gonzalez 37-yard field goal at the gun has the Commanders going to Detroit. They beat the Buccaneers 23-20. The impressive rookie year from Jaden Daniels continues. I want to hear your thoughts. Is this the greatest rookie season we've ever seen from any quarterback? RG3, Andrew Luck, CJ Stroud, right, won a playoff game last year, the Texans. Is what we're seeing from Jaden Daniels right now the best rookie season we've ever seen? I would say yes. I want to hear your answer here as well. 855-212-4227. 855-212-4227. You can also tweet me, Ryan_Hickey in the number 3, and write in our YouTube chat that can be found at the Infinity Sports Network. We'll continue to react to this game, continue to break it down here as the Commanders, again, just continue this magical season and beat the Buccaneers. We'll continue to react. And also, when we return, we'll tell you, after impressive performances by the Bills, impressive performances today, or I should say yesterday, by the Ravens, when you look at the AFC, who is the team to beat? Who is coming out of the AFC after I thought the Bills and Ravens each made strong statements in their wild card performances? I'll tell you my answer when we do return. It is Ryan Hickey with right here on the Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. Minute, 30 seconds remaining. Minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
With Ryan Hickey.
Zane Gonzalez looking to send Washington into the divisional round. Snap good, hold down, kick on its way. It is good! The Cardiac Commanders are the Clutch Commanders! They do it again! We'll see you in Detroit!
What a call. Bram Weinstein, Commanders Radio Network, the Cardiac Commanders, the Clutch Commanders, all because of number 5, Jayden Daniels. We talked about it here in the last segment, but watching Jayden Daniels lead the Commanders down to win the game, right? 4 minutes, 41 seconds left in a tie game on the road in the playoffs. He calmly, coolly leads the Commanders down the field, makes a few big throws, makes a few big runs, and gets the Commanders in field goal range to win the game and go on to Detroit. And we said it here, I want to reiterate it. Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Jayden Daniels. What all three of those guys have in common is the fact that they make you pay at the most critical and important times. They are beyond clutch. And I know Brady and Mahomes have far more accomplishments than Jayden Daniels here as just a rookie. But what Jayden Daniels does and what he reminds me of is those two guys because of how much he makes you pay for mistakes. Right, in this game, the Commanders went for a fourth down a bunch. Didn't get it early on a fourth and short. Didn't get it late in the game. Trailing by 4 points. It went for a fourth down. They had a first and goal from the 1. Fourth and goal. Didn't get it. Pass fell incomplete from Jayden Daniels. And they walk away with nothing. And the Buccaneers had all the momentum. And one small fumble by Baker Mayfield inside the red zone gave Jayden Daniels on his offense life. And facing an ensuing fourth down, what does he do? Fire a touchdown to give the Commanders the lead. And then another break goes the Commanders' way. We're 3rd and 1 as the Buccaneers are driving. Go miscommunication. That gets stuffed. It forces the Bucs to settle for a field goal instead of keeping their drive alive, maybe scoring a touchdown, bleeding more clock down, and allows Daniels and the Commanders with 4 minutes and 41 seconds left to get a chance to have the ball to win the game. Every time this year, opponents have given Daniels the ability to beat them late, he's done it. Whether it was the Eagles, whether it was the Bears, whether it was tonight on the road in the playoffs against the Bucs. This guy kills you the way Tom Brady kills you, the way Patrick Mahomes kills you. It's not every time. He's not scoring touchdowns on every drive. He's not converting every fourth down. But when it matters most, when it is crunch time, when it is clutch time, there is zero doubt about Mahomes' ability to come through, Brady's ability to come through, and now Daniels' ability to come through. He's done it far too often this year where you can't have any doubts. Even though he's a rookie, you throw that out the window. He's playing at such a high level. He's been so consistently clutch. Highlighted on the road in the playoffs here against the Buccaneers that I think everyone wants to talk about how Daniels reminds him of Lamar Jackson. Again, he reminds me of Brady and Mahomes, not because of playing style, but because his ability to always beat you when it matters most. You give him one chance. You lift the foot off the throat just a little bit to allow him to breathe. He makes you pay, just like Brady, just like Mahomes. It is incredible watching Daniels continue and consistently come through in every big moment. He plays like a 10-year vet. He plays like he is totally free. There's no pressure on him. This is a rookie in the playoffs on the road. We haven't seen a rookie win on the road since Russell Wilson back in 2012. We've seen rookies, win games at home in the playoffs. We've seen rookies, make the playoffs, as in Bo Nix with the Broncos. We also saw how that went for Bo. Not very well. Most rookies that make the playoffs do not fare well because they're overwhelmed by the moment because they can't lift their game from regular season mode to playoff mode. And Daniels did it to perfection. Did it frankly, with ease. And he put the team on his back in a game in which the Commanders had no run game whatsoever. The defense in the second half was getting ripped apart. And Daniels said, don't worry, guys. I got this. It's incredible. It's like you run out of accolades. And you run out of ways to describe how impressive it is because every week he leaves you just, and honestly, in shock with how well he's able to come through, with how often he makes you pay for mistakes, with his ability, by the way, to bounce back. We're again on fourth down. You had first and goal from the 1. 3 of those 4 plays were pass plays. Daniels couldn't find a receiver, couldn't make a completion. A few weeks ago against the Eagles, he throws an interception with just under 3 minutes to go. Like, he makes mistakes that sometimes puts the Commanders in some precarious situations. And his ability to just flush it, move on, not allow it to impact him, not allow it for him to become gun shy all of a sudden, is beyond impressive. It is beyond impressive. There's not much I can say. And that's why I don't think it's hyperbolic or crazy to say. I'm not saying he's the next Patrick Mahomes or he's the next Tom Brady where you're going to win 3, 4, 5, 6 Super Bowls and be considered the greatest ever. I am saying, though, right now, with how well Jaden Daniels has played in crunch time, with how often he's come through for the Commanders late, and how many times he has made teams pay for mistakes late in the game, he reminds you so much of Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes because those to me are 2 of the greatest ever do it. When it comes to late in the game, ball in their hands, no doubt they're coming through. No doubt. And while the sample size is small, so far, Jaden Daniels has given you every reason to think that same way you think about Mahomes and Brady. Ball in the hand, chance to win it, he's coming through. There's no doubt. Like, you're surprised if he doesn't come through at this point than if he does. You're surprised with 4 minutes and 41 seconds left in the game and a tie game on the road in the playoffs. You're surprised if he doesn't lead the Commanders down the field to win the game. It's been that impressive and that consistent from Jaden Daniels so far this season that has me putting him in the same category as Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes. Guys that you have zero doubts about coming through when it matters most. They come through. 855-212-4227, 855-212-4227. I think also now this just adds a cherry on top to, I should say, the fact that for Jaden Daniels, this is the greatest rookie season we've ever seen from a quarterback. No doubt about it. Winning a game on the road, right? We saw last year C.J. Stroud win a playoff game, so it's not unheralded that quarterbacks win games on the road. And hell, I just told you, we've seen Russell Wilson win a road playoff game. We saw Mark Sanchez win 2 road playoff games in his rookie year. We saw Joe Flacco win 2 playoff games on the road his rookie year. But what those teams, right, what the Seahawks, the Jets, the Ravens, they weren't asking their quarterback to do as much as the Commanders were asking Jaden Daniels to do on the road. And that's why, for me, this is the most impressive rookie season we've ever seen from a quarterback. If you disagree, 855-212-4227. I'd love to hear who and why. If you think we've seen a better performance so far from a rookie quarterback than Jaden Daniels. Now, I'm not just talking about this year. I'm talking about ever. 855-212-4227, 855-212-4227. You can also tweet me, Ryan_Hickey in the number 3. And also, you can check us out on our Infinity Sports Network YouTube stream that can be found on the Infinity Sports Network YouTube page. On the flip side here for the Buccaneers, this is crushing. This is crushing because you had a quarterback in Baker Mayfield playing really well this year. I understand Baker's fumble cost them a few mistakes as well. Opened the door for the Commanders to win this game on the road and steal it. I think if you're the Bucs, you got to make a move with Todd Bowles. I think you got to fire him. I understand he's gotten to the playoffs every year and he's won the division every year. He's been a head coach. But this is a guy that, number one, his defense is struggling when you need him when you need them the most, right? Again, this defense did not do a very good job at trying to slow down Jaden Daniels and get a stop when you need your defense to get a stop. A defensive-minded coach and Todd Bowles could not come through. That's number one. Number two, his clock management is horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. Late in the first half, you saw the Buccaneers marching right down the field and burned a lot of time that should have and almost did cost them a chance to score a touchdown. Baker Mayfield found Mike Evans, so it was no harm, no foul. But with the discombobulation where they're running to the line, the clock is ticking, they have 2 timeouts, there's under 30 seconds left. They don't know whether to run a play or call a timeout. They call a timeout after burning 12 seconds. The small things, right, determine wins or losses in the postseason. That right there did not determine this game because, again, the Buccaneers are able to score a touchdown on the drive, but it could have been a huge difference between 3 and 7. There's too many small things that I don't think Todd Bowles does well enough, so I think you could upgrade. And I think if you're the Buccaneers, one thing you have to worry about is Liam Cohen. You lost Dave Canales last year, your offensive coordinator to Carolina, and he's done a wonderful job with Bryce Young and turning him around. Liam Cohen is going to be getting a lot of interviews now for head coaching jobs. I think if you're the Bucs, I would much rather fire Todd Bowles and promote Liam Cohen and keep him, or hire an offensive mind, versus keeping Todd Bowles, letting Liam Cohen go, and hoping that he hits on the next offensive coordinator. Because I just don't think right now Todd Bowles does a good enough job at elevating this team. Again, the defense does not come up clutch when they need to. That pass defense is one of the worst in the league. And offensively, I think that's where this team is going to be made with Evans, with Baker. That's where this team is going to win games. I just think you can have a coach that does better in big game moments than Todd Bowles right now.
Another problem with Todd Bowles too is while he's won the division, the Saints, Falcons, Panthers, it's not an impressive division, and also, 9-8, 8-9, they're not dominating and putting up double-digit wins. It's been I feel like a fairly unimpressive. Oh, you made the playoffs, but you're winning in a bad division, and when you're in the playoffs, you're one and done. 2022 blown out by the Cowboys. Last year they beat the Eagles last year. Beat the Eagles, and then they almost beat the Lions last year, but they lost the Lions. But I feel like in general, the last couple of years, the Buccaneers have been an unimpressive team in general.
They're good. They have talent. I just if you look at Todd Bowles, I just don't think he does a good job at elevating the talent.
Right.
And again, for a defensive guy, that secondary is a real problem, and it's now been a problem for years that he hasn't been able to fix. You're going to win more on offense. Like you said, it's not like the division is murderer's row anyway.
Right.
2 teams, and the Panthers and the Saints right now can't get out of their own way for the most part. So it's a 2-team race between you and the Falcons most years anyway. I just think you could do better than Bowles. And if you truly are set on a Super Bowl, I think you Todd Bowles not winning you a Super Bowl.
No.
And I think in the NFC, it's very tough, right? The Vikings are a really good team. The Lions are a really good team. The Eagles are a really good team. I think the 49ers will bounce back next year. They have a lot of talent. The margins are thin. And for the Buccaneers, I think having a head coach can help, a better head coach can help close those margins. And you look at Todd Bowles, I think he is a weak link when it comes to playoff football. Not a guy, Jack, I trust whatsoever. And for how well Jaden Daniels has played this year, as a rookie, the fact that you couldn't disguise blitzes, the fact that you couldn't get him off his game, especially when you stuff the run game. Again, the Commanders only ran for 2.5 yards per carry. Jaden Daniels was the leading rusher in this game. So there was not, when it comes to the running backs with Austin Eckler and Brian Robinson Jr., they weren't doing a good job, the Commanders' offense, that is, of keeping you honest, of having you defend the whole field.
Yeah, I don't think that, in general, when I was watching this game, I didn't think, the Bucs were doing a really good job of, like you said, disguising blitzes, kind of really shutting down Daniels. Like, they really kind of didn't shut him down at all. As a matter of fact, they weren't putting pressure on him to make him uncomfortable standing in the pocket. He was scrambling, he was breaking tackles, he was stiff-arming defensive linemen. Like, I don't know, I think he picked apart that defense, and I don't think, again, obviously Jay and Daniels, they played week 1, they blew him, they beat him 37-20.
Right.
Week 1. That was his first game ever as a pro, so it was a little different. But in general, I think that the Bucs defense had a hard time shutting him down, and really, like you said, stiff-arming defensive linemen, and not being fooled by blitzes. That's for a rookie quarterback, that's pretty impressive.
And you look partly where this game was decided as well. The Bucs offense had success. The problem was they were not on the field a ton, in part because that Todd Bowles-led defense couldn't get off the field. On 3rd and 4th down, the Commanders were 11 of 20. Converted more 3rd and 4th downs than not, and that allowed them to hold the ball for 10 minutes longer than the Buccaneers. So, Baker Mayfield in this game only attempted 18 passes. That's it. Where you had 30-plus pass attempts from Jaden Daniels and 30-plus rush attempts as a team from the Commanders. They had the ball a lot longer. They were able to stay on the field a lot longer. They wore them down. Todd Bowles did not have many answers on 3rd and 4th down. Wasn't able to get his defense off the field. And you see that add up to eventually a tired Buccaneers defense. Couldn't get a stop late with 4 minutes and 41 seconds to go. And it results in them right now going home, I think, earlier than they should. And that's why I think if you're the Bucs, I think you should want more. You should strive for more. And I think cutting that gap starts with getting a new head coach. I would move on from Todd Bowles after this loss. 855-212-4227. 855-212-4227. It is Ryan Hickey with right here on the Infinity Sports Network. When we return, we will get your thoughts still on this game, do a little preview ahead to division round and weekend as well, but also, after an impressive performance today by the Bills, after the Ravens just absolutely smacked around the Steelers last night, when you look at the AFC, who's coming at it? If you picked the Chiefs before the playoffs started, are you now having second thoughts after watching how well Buffalo, how well Baltimore played in their respective wild card games? I'll give you my answer as to who is coming out of the AFC when we do return right here on Hick at Night. But before that, get you caught up on everything going on in what has been a very busy Sunday in the world of sports. Here's the latest Infinity Sports Network Sports Flash with Peter Schwartz.
Infinity Sports Network Sports Flash.
We kick off with Wild Card Sunday. The Commanders and Bucs tied at 20 in the final second.
Zane Gonzalez looking to send Washington into the divisional round. Snap good, hold down, kick on its way. It is good! The Cardiac Commanders are the Clutch Commanders! They do it again! We'll see you in Detroit!
Bram Weinstein on Commanders Radio. The Commanders beat the Bucs 23-20. Now to Philly, where the Eagles beat the Packers 22-10. Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni said his team was able to overcome problems on offense.
We struggled a little bit as an offense, I don't think we had the game that we wanted to have on offense.
Saquon Barkley did rush for 119 yards. Jalen Hurts threw a couple of touchdown passes. Now to Orchard Park.
Here's the snap. Allen back to pass, has time, and he's got Curtis Samuel wide open at the 33. Cuts it back inside at the 20. Puts on the Jets. Gets away. 5. Touchdown. Curtis Samuel, the Brooklyn native, goes all the way. 55 yards to Pater.
Chris Brown on Bills Radio. Bills over the Broncos 31-7. Here's how the divisional round looks. Saturday, 4:30 Eastern Time, Texans at Chiefs. 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Commanders at Lions. Then Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern, the Vikings or the Rams at the Eagles. 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, the Ravens at the Bills. Also from the NFL, the Patriots named Mike Vrabel their new head coach. From the NBA, Devin Booker, 30 points. Suns over the Hornets, 120-113. In overtime, Jazz 112, Nets 111. Thunder over the Wizards, 136-95. Magic 102, Sixers 99. The Cavs' 12-game winning streak is over. They lose to the Pacers, 108-93. Wins for the Celtics, Nuggets, Knicks, and the Kings. I'm Peter Schwartz.
This is the Infinity Sports Network, Follow us on X. Our handle is INF Sports Network. That's INF Sports Network on X.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This is Hick at Night. Here's your host, Ryan Hickey.
We will continue to react to the Commanders' surprising walk-off road victory over the Buccaneers, 23-20. They do now get set to take on the Lions next week in Detroit. I have the schedule here for you as well that I will, since the divisional round is officially set in terms of times for when these games will be played. First game, you're going to have Texans, Chiefs, 4:30 Eastern, followed by Commanders, Lions, 8 o'clock Eastern, both those games on Saturday. On Sunday, Vikings, Rams, winner of tomorrow night's game, will take on the Eagles, 3 o'clock Eastern on Sunday. And then the nightcap here, the best one, the one we are all excited for, Ravens at the Bills, 6:30 Eastern. That is on CBS. Should be a really good game. I mean, very excited. People always call a divisional round weekend the best weekend in the NFL. I would agree. Texans, Chiefs, Commanders, Lions, Vikings, Rams at Eagles, Ravens, Bills. Sign me the hell up. Speaking of Ravens, Bills here, a game I cannot wait for next week. I am so excited for. The Bills impressed me. I called them the most impressive wild card team I saw this weekend because of their ability to run the football, 210 rushing yards, 120 rushing yards for James Cook, first Bills running back, over 100 yards in the playoffs since 1995. Also, you had Sean McDermott coach aggressively. Very impressive. Two things in terms of running the ball, aggressive coaching we have not seen from Buffalo in the playoffs, really in the Josh Allen era. And in Baltimore, Lamar Jackson, I thought, played his best playoff game of his career, in large part because Derrick Henry now is equally as dangerous as Lamar. How crazy is that? But it's true. Those are two of the best players on the field anytime they're out there. Just because if you ignore Derrick Henry, he's going to run for 180 yards like he did against the Steelers and 2 touchdowns. So with Baltimore truly different, Buffalo truly different, despite those teams having legitimate improvements and now I think having the best chance to make the Super Bowl for the first time in their quarterback's respective era, I still am picking the Chiefs to come out of the AFC. I still think the Chiefs are winning, in part because, number one, their offense is clicking at the right time. You know, we always hear about the Chiefs' offense. It's not really explosive. It's kind of meh, not great. They are now starting to, hit their stride late in the season, which is what great teams do. 6 touchdown passes for Patrick Mahomes in the last 3 games. You look at the last 2 games before Mahomes kind of sat out in Week 18. The Chiefs' offense averaged 28 points per game, so they all of a sudden have some life. Now they're starting to score consistently. That's a championship defense that always shows up, that will have a game plan ready to try to slow down both Baltimore and Buffalo, whoever they may face in the AFC title game. And I still really trust the coaches. Andy Reid, I think, has a coaching advantage over McDermott and over John Harbaugh. I trust Reid. I trust Steve Spagnuolo. Those guys are going to have a great game plan. But I can't trust right now Buffalo and Baltimore to have a better one to take down the Chiefs. Not to mention, going to Arrowhead is an impossible feat to win in the playoffs. Tom Brady's done it. Joe Burrow's done it. No one else has. Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs at home, 10-2. So while, yes, Buffalo's improving, Baltimore's improving, I still think we're talking about the Chiefs going to the third straight Super Bowl, at least out of the AFC. Out of the NFC, my pick is the Eagles, but boy, oh boy, the Commanders going to be the hot team now. I think everyone's going to be. That game's going to be fascinating. Lions have some defensive concerns. And with how well Jaden Daniels is playing, I don't think it's a guarantee that you could just automatically pencil the Lions in to the NFC title game. We talked about how clutch he is, right? Let me just put some numbers here to highlight it. On 3rd and 4th down in this game, Jaden Daniels was 9 of 15 for 108 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, accounted for 8 first downs. When you need him the most, he comes through. I think for my money, it's the most impressive rookie season we've ever seen, in part because of his ability to always come up clutch this season when the Commanders need him to most, highlighted by today, 4 minutes, 41 seconds left in a tie game. He marches the Commanders right down for a game-winning field goal. 855-212-4227. 855-212-4227. As a reminder, this portion of the show is brought to you by Ethos Life, the easy way to get life insurance in just 10 minutes. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Just a few health questions. Get your free quote at checkethos.com. Not available in all states. That is checkethos.com. Rob is calling from Connecticut. What's up, Rob?
Hey, Ryan. What's going on? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, man. What's on your mind this evening?
Well, first off, I just would like to say that Friday I was listening to the show, and I completely did not like the way Zach and Stu came down on you and what they did to you after the Penn State game.
That's all right. That's all right. I was confident, Rob. It did not go my way. To the victor go the spoils. I'll take it like a man.
All right. Well, I'm glad that you were able to take it like a man. I was just sitting here. I was kind of chuckling, but we all know how Zach can be. And I was like, I got to stick up for you a little bit. It just, oh my God, I felt bad for you.
Thanks, Rob. I appreciate the sympathy. It makes me feel a little bit better here.
I heard you had nice hair, too, so.
Some would say.
Your hair is better than theirs. So anyways, listen, I was listening to you talking about Jaden Daniels. And, I'm a Bills fan, but I definitely enjoy football. And this year, it has been very exciting to witness what Washington has done, especially with Jaden Daniels. And what impressed me the most was how he played part of the season with busted up ribs, and he was still able to push forward and do what he has done and has gotten them to where they are today. That is what is very impressive. I'm looking forward to this Detroit Lions game with Washington. That's going to be a very interesting game. And, everything you were saying about Jaden Daniels, very impressive. Just very impressive.
He is. And Rob, it's a good point. A good point for you in terms of the ribs. I appreciate the call, buddy, and I appreciate the kind words. Like you said, he's right. He's clutch. He's unfazed. He's a game breaker, game changer, and I like what you said. He's also tough as well. He's the full pack. This is. There's not again. There's so many accolades. Not enough for me at this point. Just continue to throw Jaden Daniels' way. Lou is calling from Rochester. What's up, Lou?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. What's on your mind, buddy?
Well, two things. One, I can't really disagree with your assessment about how Daniels played. He did play pretty exceptional, and I haven't followed prior rookies to the degree you have. He might have had the best year, like you said. And the last caller saying that he had a rib injury midseason or something now accounts for he did have kind of a lull during the season, so maybe he was injured. But there's no way that team goes in Detroit and beats them. On the second part, the AFC stuff, I'm a Bills fan.
Why no way, Lou?
Because I don't think he's earned the level that you're crediting him with, and Detroit has a superior.
What more do you want him to do, Lou?
What?
What more do you want him to do?
I'm not. I don't think it's really him. I think his team is not good enough. They were lucky, like your moderator said. They played kind of a weak Tampa team. I mean, I had the Commanders winning with the points, but that was.
So you believe them? I got to run here, Lucas. We're up against. I appreciate the call. Look, I'm not saying you're picking the Lions to win, but you definitely cannot say they have no chance to go into Detroit and win next week. I think that's just ridiculous. Jaden Daniels has proved every single week the team has a chance. They've beaten some good teams this year. To say no chance and dismiss them, I think is inaccurate. We'll continue to get your wild card thoughts here. We'll do a little quick recap next. It's Ryan Hickey right here on the Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Looking for a man after midnight? You've come to the right place. It's Hick at Night with Ryan Hickey.
And welcome on into Hick at Night. Ryan Hickey with right here on the Infinity Sports Network. Thank you for making us a part of your Sunday, an exhilarating Sunday in the NFL. Some great playoff games, some good games go down to the wire, highlighted and capped off by the Commanders' walk-off field goal to beat the Buccaneers and advance to the divisional round of the playoff. If you missed any part of the show so far, check out the podcast feed, Hick at Night, Night spelled N-I-T-E, available wherever you do get your pods, and also a lot of videos from this show will be posted by YouTube channel as well, which can be found Ryan Hickey. Hickey, of course, in case anyone needs to know, spelled Hickey. All right, we'll get back to your thoughts here and continue to react to what has been a crazy weekend of games, again, and a crazy ending here, and the Commanders taking down the Buccaneers. But before that, because there's so much going on today, what I want to do is this. I want to give you a quick, rapid-fire reaction to everything we saw on this Sunday from Wild Card Weekend. All right, let's start here. Most impressive team, in my opinion, from Wild Card Weekend was the Buffalo Bills. Because they did two things that we've not seen them be able to do in the Josh Allen era. First thing was run the ball. They ran the ball down Denver's throats to the tune of 210 yards. That's not something we see a lot from Buffalo. One of the biggest reasons why they lose playoff games and get downs earlier than they should is because they ask Josh Allen in the playoffs to be Superman. Do it all. We're not going to get many stops on defense. We're not going to give you balance on offense. You run the ball. You pass the ball. You do everything possible to try to win the game. And in this game, you had balance, and that's why Buffalo made it look so easy. Because Denver defensively had to worry about the pass and the run, something most defenses don't have to worry about in the playoffs with Buffalo. Just to highlight how rare it is for Buffalo to have a very good rushing attack. James Cook ran for 120 yards in the game. That was the first Bills running back to eclipse 100 or more yards in a playoff game since 1995. Thurman Thomas was the last Bills running back in the playoffs to go for 100. You never see it. Buffalo got the balance they needed. They also got the aggressive coaching they needed. I've lamented so many times about Sean McDermott's conservative coaching costing the Bills in the playoffs. And today, I thought he coached the best playoff game he's coached in his career because he was aggressive. He coached, finally, like he's got Josh Allen as his quarterback. Too many times he's conservative, takes the field goal instead of going for it, punts instead of going for it. He's afraid of his defense and afraid of putting his defense in a bad spot and is afraid of what happens if you go for it and fail. And he finally trusted his quarterback, arguably the best quarterback in the league. He trusted him on fourth down. Hey, get it done. They go 2 for 2, including fourth down and 1. Third quarter that put the game away, that incredible Ty Johnson touchdown catch. I don't know how he caught it. I don't know how he stayed in bounds. He did. Great job by Josh Allen buying time, making that throw. But if Sean McDermott continues to coach the way he has in the past, On 4th and 1, they're kicking a field goal, going up by 9 instead of going for the throat, and allowing the Broncos to still breathe. Credit Sean McDermott for his aggressive coaching. Credit the run game of Buffalo for finally bringing balance and taking a load off of Josh Allen's shoulders. They were the most impressive wild card team for me because we saw two things from them we've never seen in the Josh Allen era from the Bills in the playoffs. After the game, Josh Allen talked about and bragged about how good that running game was.
Our offensive line did a great job of getting looks that we liked and taking advantage of it, and they moved guys off the ball today. Jimbo ran the ball hard, all of our backs ran the ball hard, and then you incorporate some of the quarterback run stuff, and I think that really messes with the defense of, they were in a really good position sometimes, and our guys just made plays. And that's why we have so much faith in everybody in this room.
Very impressive effort from Buffalo. They move on to face the Ravens in the divisional round. The Eagles played what was a lackluster game and won. And despite the fact that the offense was really non-existent, where the run game was fine, it wasn't great, didn't really take over the game. Jalen Hurts was bad. Let's call for what it is. He was bad. The Eagles' defense forced all these turnovers, and yet the Eagles' offense, outside of the first one, the kickoff fumble, could not turn those turnovers into points, could not turn those turnovers into touchdowns, allowed the Packers team that was banged up to hang around for a while. Despite all of that, I still come out of this game confident in Philly because despite everything I just said, they won a playoff game by double digits, and really the Packers were never in the game. They controlled it from the jump and had a stranglehold on the entire game, where maybe outside of the Josh Jacobs touchdown for like a hot second there, it was, maybe the Packers are in it. Other than that, for like 2 minutes, and the Eagles went right down and scored and kind of put the game away, there was never a doubt of if the Packers would win, or if the Eagles would win, I should say. This game is over. And so, despite the offensive struggles, and the offense having arguably the worst game of the season, that defense is so good that the Eagles, again, highlighted today that they are able to win games in different fashions. And that's why, to me, they are such a hard out, and why they're my favorite to win the Super Bowl. Because they can beat you in different ways. Your offense has a bad game, okay, it doesn't matter, we're still going to win with our defense. I expect the offense to be a lot better in the divisional round. I expect Jalen Hurts, who I think knocked off a lot of rust today for not playing for 2.5 games, almost really 3 full games. I expect him to be a lot better next week as well. I think this Eagles offense will come out better. And so if you can rely on your defense to force turnovers, just completely smother the Packers offense, and win a lower scoring game while your offense is kind of mucking it up, they're really hard to knock out. And also we saw was interesting. A.J. Brown, who held to 1 catch for 10 yards, did nothing in this game. And like the Eagles offense, passing offense did not do much in general. He was caught on camera reading a book on the sideline. And here, it's called Inner Excellence. And here's A.J. Brown after the game explaining what he was reading and why he was reading.
Man, it gave me a sense of peace. That's a book that I bring every single game. And, my teammates call it the recipe. That's the first time I heard that y'all got me on camera. But that's not the first game. It got a lot of points in there. It's a lot of mental game, a lot of mental parts about it. And, but for me, this game is mental. I physically believe I can do anything and everything, but I got to make sure my mental good. It's something like how I refresh every drive. Regardless of if I score a touchdown or I drop a pass, I always go back to that book every drive and just refocus.
Whatever it takes. For some people, you need a stress ball. For others, you need, to go on a walk to reset your mindset. For A.J. Brown, it's reading a book on the sideline. Hey, look, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He's not having many sideline outbursts. Morale on the Eagles seems to be better this year compared to last year. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Whatever it takes works here. That's the first, though. Reading, not a playbook, not looking at an iPad, but reading an actual book on the sideline. I've never seen that. Works, though, for A.J. Brown. Okay, we had a lot of wild card games here to react to. We also had a head coaching hire earlier today. The Patriots hired Mike Vrabel. My biggest takeaway is this. I think the Patriots could have upgraded their head coach and should have hired Ben Johnson. Because the Patriots' number one need from their head coach is developing Drake May. And I think Ben Johnson, with his offensive expertise, his creativity, his play calling, does a better job and is a more of a guarantee to get the most out of Drake May than Mike Vrabel is. Mike Vrabel has a track record, as a head coach. He's made an AFC title game. He's made the playoffs. He's got a number 1 seed. He has wins. Johnson is a projection because he's never been a head coach. But the big question I have about Mike Vrabel is, can he develop a quarterback? He never had to in Tennessee. That offense is always predicated on Derrick Henry anyway, so he didn't ask a lot of his quarterback. In this case with the Patriots, they're asking a lot of their quarterback. It's a Drake May show. There's not a lot of talent, especially on that offense. So for New England to have success, it's going to be on the shoulders of Drake May. And with not a lot of talent around him, you're going to need an offensive coordinator to continue to develop after what was a promising rookie year. Who is Mike Vrabel going to hire? I don't know. There's been some thoughts about Josh McDaniels returning. I think that's a terrible idea. I don't think Josh McDaniels is the right guy to develop Drake May and get the most out of him. I keep going back to, I think Ben Johnson fit what the Patriots needed more than Mike Vrabel, where he's a wild card and he's an unknown because he's never been a head coach before. But I think his offensive genius, his ability to do more with less, his ability to make everyone better, I think would have fit better what the Patriots need more than Mike Vrabel. I would have went after Ben Johnson. He would have been my number 1 choice if I was the Patriots, not Mike Vrabel. And finally, let's finish off with the game of the weekend. The Commanders taking down the Buccaneers 23-20. They do beat the Bucs on a Zane Gonzalez 37-yard field goal. My biggest takeaway is, when you're looking at Jaden Daniels, he to me reminds you so much of Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, because all 3 of those quarterbacks, it doesn't matter if you give them chances in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and they don't come through. If you make a mistake, if you give them life in the fourth quarter, they are going to come through. They are going to beat you. Brady, anytime with the ball in his hand, always came through. Mahomes with the ball in his hand comes through. And now we're seeing Jaden Daniels, ball in his hand, chance to win. The guy always comes through. He breaks your heart. Whether it's throwing an interception at the Eagles a few weeks ago, coming back and winning the game late, whether it's in this case, 4 minutes, 41 seconds to go in a tie game on the road in the playoffs, Jaden Daniels calmly leads the Commanders right down the field, makes a few big throws, converts a big 3rd down and 1 to keep the drive alive and essentially win the game by being able to run the clock down. He is a winner. And it feels like every time there's a chance to win the game and he has the ball, he comes through. Brady does it. Mahomes does it. Daniels now does it as well. Here's how the game-winning field goal by Zane Gonzalez sounded on Commanders Radio Network.
Zane Gonzalez looking to send Washington into the divisional round. Snap good, hold down, kick on its way. It is good! The Cardiac Commanders are the Clutch Commanders! They do it again! We'll see you in Detroit!
What a call, Bram Weinstein, Commanders Radio Network. Those are some rapid reaction takes to what we saw here on this Sunday of Wild Card Weekend. 855-212-4227. 855-212-4227. Edwin is calling from Maryland. What's up, Edwin? Hello, hey, Edwin.
Hey, how you doing?
What's up, buddy? How are you, man?
Hail to the Redskins, first and foremost. Oh, man, that was a great game. I'm so glad just to see the change in the team, with Daniels, with Dan Quinn, with the new leadership overall, And the most satisfying thing about it is just the reinvigoration of our fan base, man. We were a dying fan base. We were all
apathetic,
in a vegetative state, more or less,
I can't blame you. No, your former owner Dan Snyder gave you no reason to believe, no reason to support the team. Obviously, the team on the field was not very good for a while. You're right.
Yeah, and it's great to see just the reinvigoration of the fan base. Even just like now we're having, the younger people in the area are like taking interest in the team. Before it was just a team that pretty much only older people were interested in. And now we have like a new young fan base just coming up that will be, lifetime fans. Hopefully, just through Jaden Daniels, through everything that's
right. Yeah.
With
Let me ask you this, Edwin.
Right
Sounds like you're a Commanders fan
so
here.
Satisfied.
What's the emotion feeling like right now? Is it disbelief, jubilation? How are we feeling?
It's euphoric. It's definitely jubilation. There's a confidence. That's the sweetest part about it. This confidence we have in Jaden, this confidence we have in the team that even when things are close, once even I was watching with friends, and it was like once the Bucs got that field goal, it was like, yes, good, we're within. We can now we're gonna get the ball last. We can now drive down and win, and we feel that once we have the ball last, we can always win. With Jaden, we can always win. We just have that. There's this confidence that we have, and it's a beautiful feeling.
Right. No, Edwin, I appreciate the call, man. Your perspective is exactly what we're looking for here. Thank you. And that's also highlighting why I think, like, when you look at Jaden Daniels, what he's doing this year, for me, it's like the best rookie performance we've ever seen. Forget like the wins, now the playoff win on the road for a rookie quarterback winning on the road for the first time since Russell Wilson did it back in 2012. Like the stats, the numbers, forget all that for a second. Look at what he's doing. Listen to what Edwin just said. He's having people believe again. With that fan base, Edwin is right. They were apathetic for like 30 years because they had no reason to believe. Because Dan Snyder would always find a way to screw it up. He would always make the Commanders a laughing stock. Anytime they were in the news, it was for the wrong reason. Whether it's, bad PR, whether it's stuff he's doing off the field, whether it's the stadium falling apart, whether it's just on the field, the team sucked. Never found a quarterback. He's always meddling. There's always something bad coming out of D.C. when it came to the Commanders for really 30 years. And now you're seeing, with the drafting of one guy, a turnaround of a franchise. New ownership helps, but there's a belief, there's a confidence that was not there for decades, that is there because of one man. Andrew Luck helped turn around the Colts in 1 year when he was there as a rookie. But there was also, the fan base was not apathetic for 30 years. Peyton Manning just left a year ago, right? There was one bad year for the Colts before Luck came in and turned it around. So it's not like, you're going to a decrepit fan base and a decrepit franchise that's been a bottom dweller for nearly 3 decades. There was a lot of success and a lot of winning with the Colts when Luck came in. The Texans, with C.J. Stroud came there last year, they were downtrodden after the entire Deshaun Watson fiasco, even before all the allegations and accusations and disgusting acts we found out Deshaun Watson doing came out, right? Like, they alienated him, and he said, I'm not playing for you again, after having what was a really successful, run where he was one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and basically said, I'm not playing for you. But even before that, that 2-3 year span, the Texans were winning. They were making the playoffs. They were winning divisions. Jaden came into a situation where there was little to no success for a while. There was no belief for a while. He's instilled that in the span of one season. Add it to the list of how this has just been absolutely remarkable. 855-212-4227. Jeff is calling from California. What's up, Jeff?
Yeah, hey, I just wanted to tell you that you do the best job on the radio. I think most of what you say is exactly correct and right on. As far as Jaden Daniels being the best rookie quarterback of all time, I think that's got to go to Dan Marino. And then I think you should be a little bit hesitant about comparing people to older different eras because rule changes have changed the game a lot. Back in the day, defensive backs could bump the receiver all the way down the field. Right. Offensive linemen had to keep their hands within their body. I mean, the rules have changed to make it a wide open offensive game. And we used to have quarterbacks back in the day, Dan Fouts, Bradshaw, some of these guys, Roger Staubach, some of these guys, they used to light it up, even with the rules the way they used to be. Yep. You put some of these guys in the league, you put Jaden Daniels in the football league in the 70s, I think he might have been a little too skinny. I don't think he
It's
would have
also
taken
reversed, though. I mean, you take Terry Bradshaw now with how much they throw the ball. Like, it's all relative. I appreciate the call, Jeff. Everyone is built for the era they're in. So, yeah, if you in a vacuum say, okay, you put Jaden Daniels in the 70s, he's going to get killed. Okay, fine. Well, you take Terry Bradshaw out of the 70s and put him here in the 2020s, and you say, hey, Terry, you got to throw the ball 35 times to win the game. Is Terry going to be able to do that? I don't know. I don't think so. Now with how well these defenses play, now with how fast they get after him, like, it works both ways. But you look at Jaden Daniels, what he's doing, the success he's having. I mean, again, to compare across eras, it's the success, it's the belief, it's how he's leading his team on his shoulders, it's how he's coming up clutch in these big moments. He's doing it all, and I don't think it's hyperbolic to sit here and say that we're watching the greatest rookie season from a quarterback we've ever seen. He's doing it, and continues to impress every single week. 855-212-4227, 855-212-4227. It's Ryan Hickey right here on the Infinity Sports Network. We'll continue to take your reactions here to Wild Card Weekend. We've talked a lot about what happened today, Sunday, right? We'll continue to do that as well. But when we return, let's highlight one of, I thought, the lowlights of Wild Card Weekend. The Pittsburgh Steelers. There's been a lot of talk about Mike Tomlin has to go. For me, the Steelers' struggles go beyond Mike Tomlin. I'll tell you what I'm talking about when we do return here. It's Ryan Hickey right here on the Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break. Minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Minutes remaining. Minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Minutes remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Remaining. "45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
It's Hick at Night with Ryan Hickey.
Did you know, Jack, my girlfriend had the nerve to tell me that this cannot be my favorite song?
Why?
It's not a real song. That can't be your favorite song. We were talking about this a few months ago. I forget if I talked about it on the air or not here. We had a conversation, we were just walking in the park one day. She goes, what's your favorite song? And I gave her two. Mr. Brightside by The Killers. She goes, that doesn't count. Okay, fine. The other one is Heads Will Roll, A-Track remix, which is the remix you heard right there. A great song featured in Project X.
Great movie, by the way.
Great movie. And it's just it gets the blood flowing every single time. I'm ready to run through a wall right now. I got double pane glass in front of me. If you put that song up, I can run right through it, no problem. And she goes, yeah, that doesn't count.
It doesn't count?
The nerve. That does not count. Yet all she does is sing Wicked in our apartment all the time. And that's how it counts. The double standard is just...
I know, that's hard. Okay, first of all, Mr. Brightside, that's an all-time classic. I mean, that doesn't count. Why not? It's a great song. Every time you hear that song, literally everyone gets off their... wherever they are. Everyone always starts singing or dancing on that song. That's a great song. Heads Will Roll, also a great song. I don't know. I don't agree, but... I agree with your list. I don't agree that it doesn't count.
I agree. She's a piece of work. Also, next segment here, because we're running out, I want to get to the Steelers take here, but next segment I'll give you she had some doozies. We were watching a lot of football together this weekend. She gave me some a few doozies here when it comes to questions that I think you will enjoy as well. But before we get to that, we were watching Saturday night, right? Watching the Steelers just get blown out by the Ravens. There's a lot of talk about Mike Tomlin's got to go. Mike Tomlin's got to be traded. Mike Tomlin's got to be fired. The Steelers will never win a playoff game again with Mike Tomlin. The Steelers have a bigger problem than Mike Tomlin. It's the fact that their roster is average. They never have a playoff caliber roster. They squeak their way into the playoffs because they are elite at beating bad teams, finding a way to win one or two games they shouldn't, getting just enough to find their way to be in, and then they get smoked every time they're in the playoffs because their roster's not good enough. They've lost 6 straight playoff games, right? By average, they've lost those games by 2 touchdowns. Every game. They're not close. They're not competitive. In playoff games that are supposed to pit the best on the best, they always get wiped off the floor and embarrassed. Why? Because they don't have the players. This roster is average at best. It's a meh. Watching Saturday night, it's you look at this offense, and this is not just this year, this is in years past as well. You watch it go, how the hell are they going to keep up with any other offense they play? Russell, like, who scares you? Like, honestly, if you were a fan of any other team in the NFL and you were playing the Steelers in the playoffs, I would ask you, who scares you? Russell Wilson is washed up. Najee Harris is fine. He's nothing crazy, nothing you have to really game plan for. Like, George Pickens is the best offensive player, and that's when he cares, which is like not even half the time. He's his own worst enemy. He checks out of games all the time. He's a loser. George Pickens is a loser. That's the guy that wants everything to go his way. He pouts when he doesn't get his way. He's not a team player. He's a me guy. He only plays when he feels like it, and that's like half the time at best. You can't even get him to compete. He's a crybaby. He takes a lot of cheap shots. He gives up very quickly, gets in his own head. He's a detriment to the offense. When your best player is a complete enigma, there's no one that worries you. There's no one you can rely on. That offensive line is average at best. Like, you look at the Steelers offense, and again, it's been this way in the past with Kenny Pickett at the end of Big Ben, Mason Rudolph. Like, you look at this Steelers offense and you say, who is scaring? Who is keeping you up at night? Who are defensive coordinators going to the playoffs actually worrying about? Like, I don't think a defensive coordinator, right, goes into a game when they're playing the Steelers in the playoffs and says, we got to take away so-and-so. Because it's really there's not one guy. There's not a guy that can beat you. There's not one guy that scares you. It's a whole lot of average. And this defense that gets paid a whole lot of money, that the Steelers' identity is built off of, has gotten eviscerated every single postseason game they've played. They made Lamar Jackson look like the best player Lamar's ever been in the playoffs. And in the last 6 playoff games, which the Steelers lost, the defense is allowing on average 38 points per game. The defense has gotten shredded. The offense has done nothing. And the biggest undercurrent for that is that the roster, it doesn't suck, but it's not very good. It's not playoff caliber. And they get embarrassed every time they play playoff caliber teams because their roster is not up to snuff. And you could argue, look, that's on Mike Tomlin because he has a lot of say and has a lot of influence in the organization. Okay, fine. I'm not saying he doesn't. But I'm just saying, like, when you talk about Mike Tomlin, the coach aspect, the Steelers have a lot bigger issues than Coach Mike Tomlin. They got issues with GM Mike Tomlin because his roster is not very good. And it doesn't change. And that's why I think if you're the Steelers, Saturday night has to be the low point. That's got to be rock bottom. Embarrassed by your division rival. And by the way, in which you have made him look silly. Lamar's the only, or I should say, Lamar struggled against one team in his career. It's the Steelers. That's the only team where he has more interceptions than touchdowns. It's the only team where he's a losing record against when he's played them a ton. Like, he can't beat the Steelers. Yet on Saturday night, he looked like they were the worst team in the league. He carved them up like it was a Thanksgiving turkey, and he had a nice hot knife. Made it look easy. Saturday has to be rock bottom for the Steelers. And I think that means when you have to make drastic, you have to rebuild. That's where the Steelers are at. They are stuck in the middle. They are in the worst spot to be in sports. Stuck in the middle. Not bad enough to get a transformational player in the draft. Not good enough to truly compete for a Super Bowl. They're in a perpetual cycle of being good, not great, being average, sneaking into the playoffs, and getting whacked. In order for them to truly be a Super Bowl contender, they got to go down before they go up. That means trading Mike Tomlin, trading TJ Watt, trading Minkah Fitzpatrick, trading George Pickens. For the Steelers to truly be Super Bowl contenders, they have to turn over 90% of that roster. It's going to take years. It's going to take a new head coach. I think it's worth it. You have to get drastic now if you're Pittsburgh, because just making the playoffs is not good enough for that franchise. Just having a winning record is not good enough. This is one of the model franchises that competes for Super Bowls, where the bar is high, and they have been nowhere close to that in the last decade at least, since Mike Tomlin's last playoff win back in 2016. They've been nowhere close. I think that loss in Baltimore needs to send ripple effects all throughout the organization. That has to be rock bottom. It starts with moving off of Mike Tomlin and trading him, but I think it also starts, continues with trading away some key cornerstone pieces because right now they're not getting any younger. Their value is the highest, and it's going to take a long time to turn this team around. You're going to need 2 or 3 years of good drafting and good development before you can, I think, get back to competing again. And by the way, in a division where best case scenario, every year you have the third best quarterback behind Lamar and behind Joe Burrow. You're not winning the division. Your avenue, again, is going to be right now with how this team is, making it as a wild card and playing road playoff games. If you want change if you're Pittsburgh, if you want to truly, again, be considered a Super Bowl contender, something they've not been in a long time, I think you got to go down before you go up. I think you got to trade Mike Tomlin. I think you got to trade some of your cornerstone pieces here. Tear it down to rebuild a true contender moving forward. 855-212-4227, 855-212-4227. We'll get your Steelers thoughts. And when we return, speaking of downtrodden, speaking of needing change, Justin Herbert, is he overrated? We'll discuss that after we get this latest sports update from Peter Schwartz.
Infinity Sports Network Sports Flash.
Well, let's begin with NFL Wildcard Sunday. Zane Gonzalez, the game-winning 37-yard field goal with no time remaining, and the Commanders win their first playoff game since 2005. Beat the Bucs 23-20. Head coach Dan Quinn summing up the win.
You may have heard me say complimentary football is what we would need here. I thought the best indicator of that was the long drive in the second quarter. It might have been 16 or 17 plays going back, getting a punt, and then the 4-minute at the end.
Jaden Daniels threw for 268 yards and 2 touchdowns. Down to Philadelphia, Eagles beat the Packers 22-10. Jalen Hurts threw 2 touchdowns. The Eagles move on to the divisional round.
I think just to have another opportunity. I think it's been an odd year in the sense of how choppy it's been. And obviously me kind of being on leave the last couple of weeks or so. And so being back and just getting into that rhythm and leaving it all out there right now. That's what it's about.
Saquon Barkley rushed for 119 yards. In Orchard Park, Bills beat the Broncos 31-7. Josh Allen threw for 272 yards and 2 scores.
Ultimately, it's not the X's and O's, it's the Jimmys and Joes, and guys are ready to go. We got our rest, getting able to kind of not play everybody that last game. Guys were refreshed, and again, we're going to need to get our rest this week, and we had a really, really good Baltimore Ravens team coming here. They put the thumping on us earlier in the year, and we know that, we understand that. So, again, it's the most important game because it's the next one.
James Cook rushing for 120 yards and a touchdown. So the divisional round is set. Saturday, 4:30 Eastern, Texans at Chiefs. 8 p.m. Eastern, Commanders at Lions. Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern, Vikings or the Rams at the Eagles. 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, the Ravens at the Bills. The Patriots named Mike Vrabel their new head coach. NBA, Cavaliers' 12-game winning streak comes to an end. They lose to the Pacers 108-93. I'm Peter Schwartz.
This is the Infinity Sports Network. Follow us on X and like us on Facebook. Our handle is @INF Sportsnet on X and INF Sportsnet for Facebook.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. Minute, 30 seconds remaining. Minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This is Hick at Night. Here's Ryan Hickey.
So we had some troubles with the stream earlier today. Glad we got it back up and running. If you are watching on our YouTube stream, you can find it at the Infinity Sports Network YouTube page. Appreciate you watching. Appreciate you joining us here on Sunday night. Next weekend, I'll give you a heads up. We will not be able to stream. In part because I will be doing the show remotely. Normally do it here in New York City every single Sunday night. Next weekend, I will be in Atlanta That's right, down at our sister station, 92.9 The Game in Atlanta. Broadcasting there in preparation for Monday's national championship game between Ohio State and Notre Dame. Now, if you know me, yes, you probably know what's going to come next. It sucks and it's painful that Penn State got so close and is not in it. I was extremely confident, probably a lot more confident than I should have been, that Penn State was going to make it. But either way, I am going to kind of cover it here for Infinity Sports Network and kind of be there sights and sounds. So we'll be in Atlanta at the national title game next weekend, but doing this show next week down in Atlanta. Otherwise, outside of just no stream, nothing else changes. Everything is the same here. We got 4 great games we're going to react to in the divisional round. But just an early heads up that if you don't see the stream next week, that is why we're on remote in Atlanta, unable to do the video remotely there as well to get the show running. So my apologies in advance for that. But I hope you do listen on our Odyssey app, which is, again, free, available wherever you get your apps, AUDACY. Just type in Infinity Sports Network, and you can listen to us wherever you may be. Easy as that. Check us out on SiriusXM, and also check us out on one of our 200-plus affiliates across this great country. Make sure you do check it on out. So I told you last segment here, my girlfriend had a few doozies of questions earlier today. She's really in playoff mode. So every Sunday, usually her and I hang out and we watch football, but she's not really watching. She's on her phone doing whatever. But we're in the room together. Because with my schedule working nights, we don't really see each other too much during the week, where she works on normal 9 to 5. So she's usually out the door by the time I wake up. And then obviously by the time I get home, it's 10:30, 11 o'clock. She's in bed already. So we don't really get to hang out a lot during the week. So the weekend, even if, we're not doing much, on Sundays when I'm sitting here watching NFL games, she's usually at least in the room. Again, in the room on the couch, we're hanging out together. She's not maybe locked in as much as you would think. So we've gone through 18 weeks, and almost every single Sunday we've done the same thing of sitting on the couch, just watching the games, hanging out. 18 weeks, and she was killing me. We're watching the Steelers-Ravens game yesterday. All of a sudden, she looks up and goes, Russell Wilson? He's on the Steelers? Since when? She couldn't believe it. Also could not believe that Sierra moved to Pittsburgh, so that was a gigantic shock to her as well. Then earlier today, Jim Nance brought up the name Bo Nix. We were watching Bills Broncos. She goes, Bo Nix, who does he play for? He's on the screen right there. That's the Denver Broncos. Oh, interesting. Then the next game, I'm a Penn State guy. We talk about Saquon Barkley a lot. The Eagles have been on our TV a lot because they played in a lot of big games. She goes, Saquon Barkley plays for the Eagles? When? Since when? Can't make it up. She is absolutely she's in playoff mode. Full-blown playoff mode. Oh, Lauren. Gotta love her. Got to love her. Well, yeah, lights are on, no one's home in that case. And she calls me Mr. Oblivious because apparently, I miss a lot of things that are out there in the open. I'll walk by, whatever buildings that I don't notice. And she goes, oh, you see that new restaurant? I said, oh, no way up. We walked by it. She goes, yeah. So I get called Mr. Oblivious for missing obvious things, apparently. Well, she does as well. It goes both ways. 855-212-4227. This should be interesting. Let's go to Mac Truck calling from Iowa. What up, Mac Truck?
Hickey, what's good, friend?
How we doing, man?
Listen, for the record, I am a female. I just have a very deep Southern accent, so I understand.
Apologies.
The whole. No, you're fine. But I just being unbiased here in terms of the NFL playoffs and the wild card and everything. I just have so many questions. Now, listen, I'm not about to tell you who my team is because I don't want no flag. I don't want none of that. My older sister, however, is a Steelers fan, and I am kind of salty with you. Like, what constitutes George Pickens as being a loser? Please tell me, because the general public would love to know.
Mac, did you hear what he said after the game?
No, that's why I'm asking. And listen, shout out to your show. I love your show. It's something I listen to every Sunday night on my way to work or when I'm coming home. I need y'all to understand that. But What constitutes George Pickens as being a loser? I need to know how.
Here's why he's a loser. Because he's a me now we guy. Everything's about him. He makes a fit when he doesn't get the ball. He throws a fit if he doesn't get the pass. He tries to fight defenders instead of fighting through the ball. He tries to just fight them. He's one of those guys where if things don't go as quickly, the smallest thing, he makes I was going to have an expression. I just totally botched it. So I'm going to avoid that there and just say this. He's somebody that is not a true locker room guy. He is somebody that makes it all about him. If he doesn't get his way, he lets you know about it. And he's kind of one of those guys, if I'm not getting my way, I'm taking my ball and I'm going home. And no one else can play. That's why he's a loser. If you type in George Pickens on social media, there are plenty of examples, Mac, of him throwing other people under the bus, making himself sound like an absolute clown. There was a time earlier this year, Mac, if you recall, the Steelers played a Thursday night in Cleveland. They lost the game to Jameis Winston in the snow. After the game, George Pickens is sitting there with a straight face saying that the Browns are not a good team, that they got lucky to win, that they got lucky because of the snow, that they won the game. Now, as he's someone who makes all of these loser sayings, loser excuses, instead of just getting better and owning it. That's why.
Okay, listen, not for nothing. I will give you that. Ooh, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot about that post game interview after the Browns game.
Yeah,
and
that one got a lot of attention.
2024 Super Bowl. That's crazy. But, you know what? I can't. I literally can't. I'm not gonna lie. I came in trying to argue with you, and you just proved a good point. I can't even do that. But I'll tell you this. Like I said, big shout out to you and the show and Infinity Sports Network. It's literally all I listen to outside of the Des Moines networks here in Iowa. But big shout out to you. Big shout out to the individual who took my phone call.
Mac, before you go, I have one quick question. It says here, did you call in saying your name is Mac Truck?
That is literally my screen name. I have a podcast. I have a show.
Wow.
But
where did the nickname come from?
Well, I play professional women's football. I also play D tackle and fullback, and I hit like Jerome Bettis with hair.
I believe it, Mac. I believe it. I appreciate the call. If you and I ever met in the hole, I think you'd run me over. So that's why I'm gonna stay on the radio. You keep hitting fools and knocking them out. Yeah, that's a good nickname. Yeah, Mac Truck is a good one. That's not someone I'm going to mess with. That is for damn sure. Appreciate the call here at 855-212-4227. So we talked a lot about, a lot of Sunday action here on Wild Card Weekend. We look back to Saturday. I think one of the biggest takeaways from that game was the fact that Justin Herbert, at this point, he cannot be considered a top 10 quarterback anymore. I don't want to hear it because he has not earned it. In order to be considered a top 10 quarterback in the league, you have to do one of two things. Win at a high level or perform consistently. And Herbert's done neither. He has not done either so far in the 5 years he's been in the league. Like every time I watch Justin Herbert, and this was especially the case on Saturday, he leaves me wanting more. We've seen the highlight throws he's made. We've seen some of the beautiful dimes he makes. The problem is he does that once or twice a game, and for the other 25 throws you need him to make, especially in most cases in the second half, he can't do it. He can't make consistent throws. He does not play winning football. His style does not lend itself to winning games consistently for the Chargers. And that, to me, is infuriating. He gets all this praise of how good he is and his arm talent and the highlight plays we see on SportsCenter or on social media. And the reality is those are few and far between. That the other 20 throws that winning quarterbacks have to make, he doesn't make. And it's like you keep on waiting for him to put it together, to break through, to finally get some consistency, and it never happens. Honestly, he reminds me a lot of Trevor Lawrence. A lot of talent, but you're waiting. Like, Trevor at this point should be a lot better than he is. You keep on waiting for him to break through and get there and keep on climbing and win playoff games and win consistently, and it doesn't happen. And now you're looking at Justin Herbert in 2 playoff games. I mean, yesterday, 4 interceptions. He was just horrible. Completed 44% of his passes. But also go back to the first playoff game he was in. You're up 27-0, and why do the Chargers blow a 27-0 lead? In part because Justin Herbert is not consistent enough to make the winning plays to put the Jags away. He opened the door because he could not make the plays needed. That's the story of his career. A few good drives, a few good halves, but he rarely puts together 4 quarters and then does so on a consistent basis of consistent winning football. And until he does that, I don't want to hear anybody call this guy a top 10 quarterback again. He has not done anything really since his rookie year to deserve that moniker. 855-212-4227. It is Ryan Hickey with right here on the Infinity Sports Network. We'll continue to take your thoughts, and when we return, the most impressive performance of Wildcard Weekend. We'll tell you what it is.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
He's up all night with you.
We could do this all night.
Welcome aboard. It's Hick at Night with Ryan Hickey.
And welcome on into Hick at Night. Ryan Hickey with you right here on the Infinity Sports Network. Thank you for making us a part of your Sunday. If you miss any part of the show, just tuning in for the first time, welcome. Thank you for joining us here. Number two, you can catch up on the show two easy ways. First is on audio-wise, wherever you get your podcasts, type in Hick at Night. Night spelled N-I-T-E, available wherever you do get your pods. Easy way to catch up on the show through the first 3 hours. That's been a lot of fun. And also video-wise, you can check out my YouTube page, Ryan Hickey's the channel. You can subscribe there. A lot of videos from this show will be uploaded there throughout the week, and then also some takes that I'll give as news breaks as well. So a good resource there for video watchers that want to look at my ugly face. Ryan Hickey is the place to go find it on YouTube. All right, so we started the show by talking about why I thought the Buffalo Bills' performance in their win over the Broncos was the most impressive performance I saw from Wild Card Weekend. And that was the case up until we saw the Commanders go into Tampa and win 23-20 on the back, on the arm, on the legs of one Jaden Daniels. And my big takeaway from watching Jaden Daniels and watching the Commanders go win a playoff game on the road was the fact that, to me, Jaden Daniels, he gets a lot of comps to Lamar Jackson because of the playing style. Right? Uses his legs, does not take a lot of big hits, dual threats. I would start to compare Jaden Daniels to Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. Not because of playing style. I'm not saying he's going to be the next in line to be the one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time with a ton of rings. But why he right now in year number one reminds me of those two guys is because, like those two guys in Brady and Mahomes, anytime you give them an opportunity to burn you, they will. Anytime you give them life late in a game, they will take it. They will make you pay. Excuse me, sorry. Battling like a cough here. I got a dry throat. My apologies on that. Frightened throat here. Playing hurt. It's playoff time, though, here for Hick at Night. And Jaden Daniels did it again. He did it a few times here where the Commanders went for it on fourth down a bunch. Went for it 5 times. Didn't get it a few times. Early in the first quarter, went for it on 4th and 1, got stuffed. Then in the fourth quarter, trailing by 4, 17-13, they were facing a 4th down and goal from about the 5-yard line or so. The Commanders go for it. Jaden Daniels fires a pass incomplete. So what went from a 1st and goal at the 1 ends up in 0 points for the Commanders in the 4th quarter of a road playoff game in which they are trailing by 4 points. And then Baker Mayfield makes a fatal flaw where he fumbles the ball in the red zone, recovered by the Commanders. He gave Jaden Daniels a second chance. He gave the Commanders life. And Jaden Daniels, facing a 4th down, comes through, fires a touchdown pass to Terry McLaurin. That's reason number one. When you give Jaden a second chance, he's going to make you pay. Did so right there. A fumble opened the door. Boom, he answered with a go-ahead touchdown. Then immediately, to Baker's credit, he bounced back. He marched the Buccaneers right down the field. And from the 11-yard line of the Commanders, with under 5 minutes to go, the Bucs are facing a 3rd and inches. You get the first down. It's 1st and goal. You can bleed the clock, have a great chance to score a touchdown, and retake the lead late in the game of a playoff game. And there's a miscommunication. The snap is made. No one's ready for it. Play is blown up. And instead of converting a 3rd and inches, it is now 4th down. And the Buccaneers have to settle for a tying field goal. So with 4 minutes and 41 seconds left to go, Jaden Daniels has a chance. In a tie game on the road in the playoffs, he has a chance to lead the Commanders down the field to kick the go-ahead or game-winning score and advance to the divisional round. And what does he do? Leads a 10-play, 51-yard drive in which he made plays with his arm, converted a huge 3rd down and 1 that essentially allowed the Commanders to drain the clock and run it all the way down to 3 seconds, and allowed Zane Gonzalez from 37 yards out to kick what ended up being the game-winning field goal with no time left.
Zane Gonzalez looking to send Washington into the divisional round. Snap good, hold down, kick on its way. It is good! The Cardiac Commanders are the Clutch Commanders! They do it again! We'll see you in Detroit!
Bram Weinstein, Commanders Rated Network, A+ call. Outstanding. But he said it. The Cardiac Commanders. The Clutch Commanders. Who is he talking about? He's talking about the whole team, but he's really talking about one guy, Jaden Daniels, who yet again in clutch time comes through for this team. Every time the Commanders feels like they have the ball, the chance to win, the guy comes through. Now, I keep going back to a few weeks ago. I think for me it's so impressive. A few weeks ago at home against the Eagles, Jaden Daniels throws an interception with about 2.5 minutes to go with the Commanders trailing. That should have been the game right there, right? Late interception, 2+ minutes late in the fourth quarter game. It should be game over. Well, to the defense's credit, they get a stop, they get the ball back, and Jaden Daniels leads the Commanders right down the field to throw the game-winning touchdown with less than 10 seconds to go. This is a guy that always finds a way. If you give him a chance, he's going to burn you. If you give him the ball late in a game with a chance to tie or win, he comes through. And that's why, like for me, I go to the comp of Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady, because that's what we say about those two guys. They come through. They make you pay. They might not make you pay for a mistake in the first quarter, or the second quarter, or the third quarter, or hell, even early in the fourth. But late in the game, with the decision, with the game up in the air, you give them a chance to beat you, they will. Jaden Daniels has done it all season long. That's why, for me, I think of Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes when I think of Jaden Daniels, with how well he's played this year. He said the greatest rookie season I've ever seen in my life from a quarterback. I would argue it's been the greatest rookie season from a quarterback in NFL history. And now it continues. 11 wins in the regular season, and they are going on to Detroit to take on the Lions in the divisional round. And this is a matchup where, to me, it's not a guarantee the Lions are winning. Like I'll probably pick them to win the game. But like Jaden Daniels gives you belief, and that Lions defense, especially their secondary, is susceptible, where it's not a guarantee. It's not a lock. It's not definitive. That game on Saturday night is going to be a game. I cannot wait for it. I am so excited for it. And Jaden Daniels gives you that belief if you're a Commanders fan, even if you're just an NFL fan. He gives you that belief that no matter who the opponent is, what the situation is, the Commanders have a chance to win. Very few quarterbacks you can say that about. Daniels is one of those guys. To his credit, after the game, he talked about what it's like to win his first career playoff game.
I don't know. I can't really explain it. Obviously, I'm grateful to have the opportunity. I'm happy for the fan base, the franchise, everything it's been through to get to this point. So I'll just say, I'm just grateful and happy for everybody, including myself too.
855-212-4227. It's Ryan Hickey right here on the Infinity Sports Network. I mean, even just the composure. He's a rookie and just won a road playoff game for the first time in his career. And he's sitting there talking like he just played a half a preseason game. It was good, he executed, it was fine. There's no excitement in his voice. Calm, cool, collected. Big reason why he's been able to have success. And that's a big reason why he comes through in the clutch. He doesn't make it bigger than it is. It's so impressive. So impressive. It's so rare to have that makeup of clutchness, of calmness, of confidence this early in your career, and boy, does he have it. 855-212-4227, 855-212-4227. Let's go to Steve calling from Rhode Island. What up, Steve?
Hello, sir.
What's going on, man? How are you?
This is Mike. Well, how are you? This is my first call ever to any sports station.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you for making it, man. I appreciate it. Steve, what's on your mind, buddy?
Well, I've been listening to all three games today, and I agree with you. First of all, bad confession, I'm a Giants fan, so I would like some sympathy here.
Yeah, I feel you there.
Daniel is special. Yes, he is. I mean, we've seen Mac Jones do great for 1 year and fall back.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen RG3 do the same thing. This kid is solid, but I don't think they're going to beat Detroit because I think they need a tight end in the red zone.
Okay.
And I'm worried about their run defense with Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, their run defense is one of the worst. You're right about that, Steve. It could be a problem, and with that high-flying lines offense, it's going to be a shootout, right? It's going to be a high-scoring game. Both defenses are susceptible, like you said, Commanders in the run, Lions in the pass. I'm with you. I think that the Lions will win. But I think it's one of those games where, like, you have to give the Commanders a chance. Even though they're going on the road facing the number one team in the NFC, you have to give them a chance because of number 5. He's that good.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they went from, 4 games to 12? That's like Larry Bird in the early Celtics years going up 32 games, in one season. And the other thing I was thinking was, it seems that as the NFL goes to more games, it's funny to me that a 14-3 team has to travel on the road to play a 10-7 team, just like it is with the Commanders at 12-5 to go down. Don't you think we possibly should go to conference seeding?
What do you mean by conference? They have conference seeding. Oh, you mean like just wipe out the divisions?
Sure, they do. But I mean,
like wipe out the divisions. Top 4 teams and records get home field.
Well, yeah. I mean, you get teams. You can possibly have a team 9-8 being home field against a team that's 15-1. If another team goes 16-0, right. I'm just thinking that as far as seeding, it seems weird that Minnesota has to go on the road to me to play the Rams, and it seemed kind of weird that the Commanders, had to go down to play the Bucks.
Tampa, yeah. I hear, Steve, and this has been a conversation. I appreciate the call, and also in part because I think of college football with how their bye system worked. I don't have a problem with it, to be honest with you. I have no problem rewarding division champions. I have no problem, honestly. I don't. I think it's tough because there's so much fluctuation in competitiveness. Like last year, the NFC West was like the best conference, or best division, I should say, in the NFL. This year, it's the NFC North. Like, there is enough change where it's not just one division is always head and shoulders better than the next, and 2 or 3 are always pretty crappy. I have no problem with how the playoff seeding and home field works. I like it. You win your division. You get a home playoff game. I have really no complaints about that at all. 855-212-4227. Al is calling from Arizona. What up, Al?
Hey, Ryan, how are you?
Good, buddy. What's on your mind, man?
So here's the thing. I understand what you're saying about George Pickens. First of all, I do think that they would have won the game if there wasn't snow in Cleveland, but I agree with what you're saying, and it's not an excuse. He's a great wide receiver, too. Here's what the problem with the Steelers. Their skill position players just aren't that good. Having Van Jefferson is your second receiver. Arthur Smith comes in. Arthur Smith was 7-10 for 3 straight seasons. He's an average offensive coordinator. Average. When they hired him, I'm not even a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. When they hired him, like, what in the world are they doing? Their running backs are 25th in the league in yards per carry, and his strong suit is running.
Yep.
So the point is that all around they made some really bad decisions. They kowtowed to him and signed Cordarrelle Patterson and started Van Jefferson because these were his players. But they're not starters in the NFL. And so the Steelers actually overachieved, I think, this year with what they have. I don't think that Najee Harris is a starting caliber running back. And so personnel-wise, they got to bring a new offensive coordinator in, and they need to upgrade running back, upgrade wide receiver, and I think they'll be okay.
But this is, Al, you're making my point. I'm not sure if you heard when we talked about the Steelers, but this is the roster's not good. Like their roster is average. And that's why when they come playoff time, they get waxed because they're playing actually good teams. And like you said, George Pickens is not a number one receiver. The running backs are not very good. The quarterback's not been good and hasn't been good now for years in Pittsburgh. The offensive coordinator is not very, it's not creative. And that's been, again, a lot of the issues at running back, at receiver, at play caller, at quarterback. Al, it's been issues now, and it's been subpar for years.
I'm in agreement. I will say one thing going into this game. And again, I wouldn't consider myself a genius. Calvin Austin has 4.32 speed. Tell me, why are they not giving him a Tavon Austin type of role? Have him do some end arounds. Make him the focal point. He has the most speed on the team. He's going to be the one that's going to break big plays. But he got the ball. I don't know, maybe he got 4 passes or something like that. Do you see my point?
You know the reason why. You just said it before. Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith and Bijan Robinson, and I appreciate the call, Al, and didn't use him at all last year. Didn't use him properly, I should say, at all last year. This is a guy who knows how to screw up good talent. And that goes back to everything with it. Like, that's why this loss for the Steelers should be rock bottom. Like, you gotta blow it up. And Al, I'm not even sold that they're 3 players away. Like, they're not a quarterback, a running back, and a receiver away from being competitive. This defense has stunk in the playoffs now for years. This offense has always stunk, both in the regular season and in the postseason. They've not been good in either for years. They need a total reset, a complete overhaul. Again, I would turn over about 90% of the roster. Like, to truly get them to Super Bowl contention, they probably need 90% of the guys currently on the roster gone. And that's including TJ Watt, Minkah Fitzpatrick, George Pickens, Russell Wilson, Cam Hayward. All, in the case of Watt, Hayward, great players. Getting older. You need that draft capital to turn this around. They need help. They need a complete makeover. Because a change here, a change there, it ain't going to work. That's for sure. 855-212-4227, 855-212-4227. It's Ryan Hickey with right here on the Infinity Sports Network. When we return, we'll continue to take your calls here, react to everything we saw from Wild Card Weekend. And also when we return, we had one head coach hire in Mike Vrabel getting hired by the Patriots. I saw a report over the weekend about who could be interested in the Raiders job. You want to talk about an absolute disaster? The Raiders hire this guy. That's what it'll be. I'll tell you who and why when we do return. It is Ryan Hickey right here on the Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break. Minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. Minute, 30 seconds remaining. Remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
So I remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast I felt like I was drunk. City lights lay out before us, and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belonged. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone.
This is Hick at Night. Here's Ryan Hickey.
So, amidst all the playoff action, I saw this report from the Las Vegas Review-Journal of the weekend. It said that Deion Sanders, quote unquote, has a very strong interest in the Raiders head coaching job. I couldn't believe it. Deion wants to coach the Raiders. Now, there's been no follow-up in saying how interested the Raiders are, but Deion is very interested in coaching the Raiders. This is what I'll say to the Raiders. If you want to remain a laughingstock in the NFL, hire Deion Sanders. If you want to become the Dallas Cowboys of the AFC, hire Deion Sanders. if you are truly determined to win, now that Tom Brady is essentially calling the shots, you have to stay as far away from Deion as possible. He would be an abject failure as a head coach in the NFL. Here's why. First and foremost, he's only coaching the Raiders if he's coaching his son. He said that's a Good Morning America. He said that before. I really want to coach in the NFL if it's coaching my son. So that means Deion Shador, a package deal. And I think if you have both Sanders' son and father going to Vegas, it wouldn't work out. First and foremost, how the hell is Shador going to gain respect from a locker room filled with grown men if he is playing for his daddy? If he, if he has his daddy calling the shots and babying him, because that's what would happen. Look at how Deion coaches his son at Colorado. A lot of praise for Shador. I don't hear much criticism. What he can do better. It's about what the rest of the team could do better around him. That's not going to fly in an NFL locker room. That's not going to fly when you're talking to grown men that you're afraid to criticize your son or won't do it or will blame somebody else. I think it would be impossible for Shador coming in as a rookie to gain respect from the likes of Max Crosby and co., who have accomplished things in the NFL, when he's coming in playing for his dad. I think it's just an impossible spot. It's like in anyone else's job, right? If the boss hires his son and there's no track record for the son of accomplishments he's done on his own, it's all been with his dad, you wouldn't respect him. Right? You would not take him seriously. I think the same thing would happen here. I also don't think Deion's coaching style translates to the NFL. He's an authoritarian, I should say, excuse me. As are most college football coaches. That's not just a Deion thing. That's most college football coaches. They want and they have control, right? You don't really have much control as an NFL head coach because these are grown men that are going home to their families. Right? You can't tell them, hey, you guys stay here and do this, or you can't go out on Friday night because we got to lock in for the game. They're going to laugh at you. You get that control in college because these kids idolize you, right? Essentially, you're their meal ticket to the NFL. Now that they've made it, they're not taking orders in most cases, right? Most head coaches are not telling you how to live your life. I don't think Deion's coaching style and philosophy would translate to the NFL. And finally, if you're the Raiders, right, you've been in a rut for a long time. You've not been respectable for a long time. And you want to know why? It's because they've had, frankly, jokes as their head coaches for decades. Let me just quickly tell you who has been recently here the head coaches for just the Raiders franchise. Antonio Pierce, one and done. Josh McDaniels, a massive failure. John Gruden, second round, failure. I think the game has passed him by. Jack Del Rio, Dennis Allen, Hugh Jackson, Tom Cable, Lane Kiffin, Art Shell, Norv Turner. Look at that succession of coaches. What do they all have in common? They're failures. The Raiders need to hire an established voice, someone who knows what the hell they're doing. That's why, for me, I think first and foremost on the list is Pete Carroll. That, to me, is a guy that is the perfect fit for the Raiders, who knows what he's doing, has a history of success, can bring stability to this franchise that's not been there for a while. I know he's older, so he's not going to be there forever, but he can establish a culture and lay a foundation for 3 or 4 years of winning and competency. Two things that have not been with the Raiders for a very long time. You want to hire Deion? You will continue the circus. Continue to be a laughingstock. Continue to prioritize headlines over wins. You hire someone like Pete Carroll, you can actually turn the corner and hire someone who knows what they're doing for the first time in a very long time. 855-212-4227, 855-212-4227. Rich is calling from California. What's up, Rich?
Good morning, good evening. How are you?
Hello, Rich. I'm doing well, buddy. What's on your mind, man?
Write this down. You got a pen right next to you?
I actually do, Rich. I have a pen.
Okay.
I got a piece of paper. What do you want me to write down?
Mike Tomlin, Head coach.
Mike Tomlin.
Raiders.
Head coach.
Now, think about this. Forget the Deion. You're right about that. He's not going there.
You think the Raiders would actually trade for him?
Oh, my God. Are you kidding? First of all, that's the kind of guy, it's Vegas. They need somebody who's got credibility. They need somebody that fits their MO. You know, Mark Davis, the owner. They've had about 17 coaches, right, in the last 30 years.
Yep.
They need somebody that has credibility, that has a unique kind of relationship with players. I don't know why the Steelers got to move on from him. And he probably wants to move on. He needs a change of scenery. One other question. What do you think about that?
I like it, Rich. I like it a lot. I appreciate the call. I'm not sure the realistic nature of it. I think in part because while we advocate the Steelers to make changes, it does not, at least Adam Schefter reported yesterday that the Steelers are not inclined to make a change. But like everything you laid out, I think is very fair, and I think Mike Tomlin would be a great fit for Vegas. I think he would be. And I think also, too, having Tom Brady having Tom Brady now be involved with the Raiders organization makes that job more attractive than it otherwise would be, because Mark Davis has shown he's willing to give you power and let you do what you want, right? Like, his downfall is that he hires the wrong guys, but to his credit, he doesn't meddle. He sits back and he lets football people that he hires do their job. That's attractive for a head coach like Mike Tomlin, who wants a lot of influence, who wants a lot of power. And I think when you have Tom Brady there as well, I think it makes it attractive for, if you're Mike Tomlin, right? I think if Mike Tomlin's on the trade block, let's just say, and the Steelers actually do what they should do and move on from him, there's going to be a lot of teams interested. Rightfully so. The Jets should be right there interested trying to hire him. The Bears should be interested trying to hire him. The Raiders should be in that mix as well. I think what gives the Raiders an edge over some of those teams is the fact that despite you're going to a division with the Chiefs in it that run it, and a promising rookie quarterback the Broncos have in Bo Nix, I think there's reason to believe in Tom Brady that he can help turn this organization around and bring winning to the Raiders. I think Tom Brady's involvement makes that job more attractive than it otherwise would be. I like it, Rich. The realistic nature of it, I would say, is low. But I think if Mike Tomlin is on the trade block, I think the Raiders are absolutely a legitimate landing spot for his services. 855-212-4227. Let's go to Kyle in Minnesota. What's up, Kyle?
Hey, Ryan. How you doing? Thanks for taking my call.
Of course, man. What's on your mind, buddy?
Good. Shout out to the local 120 food drivers out there. So, I know the Vikings are a cute little club. I know that. But I think we're very well coached. If we win tonight, tomorrow night, do you think we have a shot at Philly?
Yes. Oh, Philly? I would say no, but I think the Lions, yes.
Okay, but...
Oh, no, sorry. I apologize. I messed that up. Sorry, you're right, because the Commanders won.
It's all
Philly.
good.
It's tough. It's really tough, Kyle. And I think that crowd is hostile.
Yeah.
And the Eagles have a lot of ways to beat you. That's a good defense, and I appreciate the call. It's kind of noisy, so we'll let you go here. I think if the Vikings got a rematch with the Lions, I would feel very good about their ability to go into Detroit and win. Get revenge. Philly's a different animal. Because I think Philly, unlike Detroit, has a defense that is healthy, that is aggressive, that is good on all three levels, that can get after you. Like we've talked about with Philly, they can run the ball well. I think when they have to, they can pass the ball well. That to me is, I like the Vikings. I know you kind of, it sounded at least to me a little tongue-in-cheek in terms of, little old Minnesota, here we are, kind of no one giving us respect, kind of doing a little Dabo Sweeney, little Clemson there. I get it. I think the Vikings are legit. Like, I think they're a true Super Bowl contender. I just think for them, their worst matchup is the Eagles. I think they match up much better against the Lions than they do Philly. I think Philly has too many ways they can beat you, and I think Philly will be a lot sharper next week than they were today against the Packers. So I think you're going to see a better Jalen Hurts, a better run game overall, and a much better offensive effort than the 22 points you got from Philly earlier today. 855-212-4227. 855-212-4227. It's Ryan Hickey with you right here on the Infinity Sports Network. When we return, we'll continue to get your thoughts here, react to everything from Wild Card Weekend. We'll also give you Sunday Scaries, including a new fear of yours. unlocked. Tell you what that is after we get the latest sports update from Peter Schwartz.
Infinity Sports Network Sports Flash.
And we will kick off with NFL Wildcard Sunday. The Commanders and Bucks tied at 20 in the final seconds.
Zane Gonzalez looking to send Washington into the divisional round. Snap good, hold down, kick on its way. It is good! The Cardiac Commanders are the Clutch Commanders! They do it again! We'll see you in Detroit!
That was an excited Bram Weinstein on Commanders Radio. Commanders get their first playoff win since 2005, beating the Bucks 23-20. Zane Gonzalez, as you heard, hitting the game-winning 37-yard field goal with no time remaining. Now to Philadelphia, where the Eagles beat the Packers 22-10. Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni said his team was able to overcome some problems on offense.
We struggled a little bit as an offense, I don't think we had the game that we wanted to have on offense.
So Saquon Barkley did rush for 119 yards, and Jalen Hurts with a couple of touchdown passes. Now to Orchard Park.
Here's the snap. Allen back to pass, has time, and he's got Curtis Samuel wide open at the 33. Cuts it back inside at the 20. Puts on the Jets. Gets away. 5. Touchdown! Curtis Samuel, the Brooklyn native, goes all the way. 55 yards to Pater.
That was Chris Brown on Bills Radio, and the Bills beat the Broncos 31-7. Josh Allen with a couple of touchdown passes in the game. So the divisional round is all set. Saturday, 4:30 Eastern for the Texans and Chiefs, 8 p.m. Eastern for the Commanders and Lions. Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern, the Vikings or the Rams at the Eagles, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, the Ravens at the Bills. The Patriots named Mike Vrabel their new head coach. NBA, the Cavaliers' 12-game winning streak is over. They lose to the Pacers 108-93. I'm Peter Schwartz.
855-212-4227. That's the number to get in touch with us, the Infinity Sports Network. Give us a call, 855-212-4227.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. Minute, 30 seconds remaining. Minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This is Hick at Night. Here's your host, Ryan Hickey.
If you've missed any part of Wild Card Weekend, Hick at Night, right here on the Infinity Sports Network, check us out wherever you get your pods. Hick at Night, night spelled N-I-T-E. Available, of course, wherever you do get your podcasts. Big thank you to Jack Carty for helping us out tonight, doing a great job producing the show. Also, can check out some video content on YouTube. My YouTube channel is Ryan Hickey. You can find a lot of videos from this show posted there. You can watch this show live as we currently speak to you here on the Infinity Sports Network by checking out the Infinity Sports Network YouTube page. We stream this show every single Sunday night, except for next Sunday. I'll be in Atlanta getting ready for the national title game between Ohio State and Notre Dame. So that's the only show that will not be streamed on YouTube. Otherwise, we will be here every Sunday night streaming in live video to you. All right, it is Monday, which means the work week is either getting ready to start or for some of you has already started. That sucks. So how to make you feel better about another work week starting is by highlighting those that have it worse than you. We call it Sunday Scaries.
The weekend is winding down. Hey, Ryan, who's got the Sunday Scaries this week?
Who has the Sunday Scaries this week are residents of Indonesia. I thought I had it bad here in New York City, where you got to worry about, people lighting you on fire on the subway or pushing you in front of a subway car or stabbing you out of nowhere. New York City is right now kind of going through a little bit of a time where some crazy things are happening. That to me is peanuts compared to what residents in Indonesia right now are currently facing. Take a listen to this clip as to what the hell right now, a crisis, if you will, that is taking over Indonesian waters.
These saltwater crocodiles in Indonesia have apparently learned how to pretend to be drowning to lure humans in who they view as prey, who they then obviously eat.
Think about that. There's videos now of crocodiles in Indonesia that are like on their side that put their I was gonna say paws, but that's not the right term there. That put their for lack of a better term, we're gonna use feet here. That put their hands up in the water that from a distance make it look like somebody is drowning. So that a human from the, from the water's edge looks and says, oh, I got to go in there and save the person that's drowning. Oh, psych, when you get there, it's a crocodile that boom, 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 chomping and eat you. Could you imagine that? That is scary as hell. It's also scary as hell that crocodiles have now figured out a way to trick humans to get them in the water so they can attack them. You thought dumb old crocodile. They're thinking dumb old human. Imagine having to worry about that, Jack. I mean, at least a crazy guy in the street, you could see him from far away and run away. So now you look in the water, oh my God, someone's drowning, let me try to help them out. Oh, psych, it's a crocodile.
That is so scary.
Nightmare fuel.
I mean, it's also, you have to admit, like, I don't even know how a crocodile even, figured that out.
And that's the scary part. They're adapting.
How did they learn to adapt like that? It's not like they watch TV and oh yeah, people drown. That's how you get people to try. They obviously, one crocodile did it and then
worked out.
This on. That is so beyond scary. Oh my God.
And they have 4 fingers, so it does kind of look like a human hand.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Man, imagine living in Indonesia and that's what you got to deal with in the water? No, thank you. Residents of Indonesia, that is nightmare fuel right there. They got the Sunday Scaries. You know what's at the Sunday Scaries right now is Todd Bowles, Buccaneers head coach. He had a doozy of a time trying to slow down Jaden Daniels. Spoiler alert, he did not. Jaden Daniels torched him. 2 touchdown passes, led the Commanders down the field for the game-winning field goal with no time left by Zane Gonzalez. But why Todd Bowles, how we know he was just done from the beginning, was at halftime. He did his interview with NBC. Listen to Todd Bowles. The question was this: how do you try to contain Jaden Daniels in the second half? Listen to what Todd Bowles had to say to that.
Got to get him in long third and longer yardage. You got to win first down. He keeps getting out of the pocket to his left, to our left, his left. Our left, his right, and we got to cut that down.
The guy was so frazzled by Jaden Daniels. He doesn't know his left from his right. His left, my left. His right, our right, their left. Who's left? Or who's on first? What's on second? The guy has no idea. He is frazzled completely by Jaden Daniels that he forgot his lefts and rights. That's when you know as a quarterback you got the other team cooked. Oh boy, Todd Bowles. You, my friend, got the Sunday Scaries. Hopefully, for those 2 stories there, make you feel a little bit better by getting the work week. That just makes you remember there are plenty of people who have it a lot worse than you. Speaking of which, to kind of take a lighthearted thing to a serious thing here, obviously, look, thoughts and prayers to everyone right now out in LA, out in the Palisades, out in California right now that are dealing with these tragic wildfires. If you're able to help, please do so in any fashion, including prayer. That obviously does help as well. It's obviously devastating to see what is going on. So just know that we are with you. And hopefully, at least if you're listening in the area, we can provide a distraction right now that otherwise has just been a nightmare for days that hopefully does come to an end soon. But obviously, thoughts and prayers to everyone affected, but also sending out love and well wishes to everyone that is fighting the fight. Firefighters, first responders, EMS doing everything they possibly can to try to clamp down to this fire as quickly as possible. It's a dangerous job. It is a necessary job, and we obviously hope that if you are helping, you do so in a safe fashion as well. 855-212-4227. Let's go to Emily calling from San Diego. Hello, Emily.
Hi, Ryan. I just love your show. The segment of Sunday Scaries is just the greatest.
Oh, I appreciate that. I'm glad you enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't know how you came up with that, but that was brilliant. Something off the wall, but still relevant.
That's what we're trying for here.
Yeah, I have a question, and I won't take up very much time because there's other people, but I'm part of the Chiefs Nation, okay? Chiefs and three-peat and all that stuff. But after listening and watching the games today and listening to them on the radio, it seems like the Commanders are the ones that, and I looked at their ratings, seem to be in pretty good shape. Does the performance tonight, bring to light how nobody talks about them, so how they're doing, for the year, and are they in really seriously
like a Super Bowl contender?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll answer that. Thank you for the call, Emily. Appreciate the
You're
kind words.
welcome.
And thank you for listening. I would not say the Commanders are a Super Bowl contender. I think the Lions are better. I think the Eagles are better. I think even the Vikings are better. I think they have a chance to beat the Lions, but I will pick the Lions to win that game next week in Detroit. I think just that they're overall better and a little bit more explosiveness and variety in offense will ultimately win the game. But Jaden Daniels is doing something we've never, at least in my lifetime, never seen before from a rookie quarterback, when he's just truly transformed a doormat franchise into now a respectable one to where the future is very bright. I think a few more additions on offense, a few more additions on defense, and this team is knocking on the door of one of the best teams in the NFL, I think, in 2 or 3 years. If they continue on this track, they are ascending, Emily, very quickly. They are legit. They're on a great track right now, ahead of schedule, well ahead of schedule. And this is a team that I think we have talked about in really the second half of the year a lot, but mostly talked about Jaden Daniels. I think we'll be talking about them a lot more here as the upcoming seasons do come upon us. Cody's calling from Michigan. What's up, Cody?
Morning tonight.
What's going on, man? How are you?
Good, you. I was curious how you think the Lions will beat the Commanders next weekend.
How? I think it's running the ball. Running the ball for 2 reasons. Number one, that's the weak point in the Commanders' defense, Cody. Number two, you got to keep Jaden Daniels off the field. I think with the injuries that the Lions have and the fact that their weakness is pass defense, I think the best chance of slowing them down is keeping them off the field as long as possible. The Commanders in this game converted 11 of 20 third and fourth downs. They held onto the ball, Cody, 10 minutes longer than the Buccaneers did. It had a big impact on the game, and they wore off that Buccaneers defense. The Lions have to do the same thing. Run the ball down their throat, play the time of possession game, go on long 10, 12-play drives that chew up 5-6 minutes of the clock, wear down that Commanders defense, and keep Jaden Daniels on the sideline. That's the recipe for success.
Do you think our defense will be able to hold Jaden Daniels next week?
I think they can do a good enough job. Remember last year, Cody, versus the Rams and versus the Buccaneers, right? Matthew Stafford and Baker Mayfield had success in both of those games, but the Lions did just enough defensively to win. That's what I feel like. Are they going to shut him down? Absolutely not. Are they going to contain him? Probably not.
Yeah,
can you do just enough to win? And that even if that's 35-31, I think they can, and that's all that matters, you know?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's the plan. I appreciate the call, Cody. Thanks so much for listening. That's the game plan for the Lions. Run the ball a ton. And Jahmyr Gibbs coming off a 4-touchdown, 100, I think it was 60-yard performance he had against Minnesota. He's ready to go. No doubt about it. All right, that'll do it for this edition of the show. Really fast here. We started the show talking about A.J. Brown, or at least early in the show, talking about A.J. Brown and his book that he was reading. And is now, predictably, Inner Excellence is #1 on the Amazon bestseller list. So A.J. Brown hopefully gets a little cut of that, but the book he was reading on the sideline, Inner Excellence, that the cameras caught, is now a bestseller on Amazon because, of course, it's 2024. A big thank you to Jack Carty. Did a great job producing the show tonight. A big thank you to you. Thank you for picking us and joining us here on the Infinity Sports Network, Hick at Night. If you miss any part of the show, check out the Hick at Night podcast, Night spelled Nite, available wherever you get your pods, and also on YouTube as well. You can search my name, Ryan Hickey, and that's where my channel does pop up. Do not go anywhere. Amy Lawrence is up next. Have a great week. We'll talk to you next Sunday. This has been Ryan Hickey, right here on the Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break.